center ice for Norton. Laurie Boschman and LaFontaine battling for it. It went right to Derek King. Comes over the line and brought it in offside. Play called with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining, and now they've got to do something about this area of center ice. A large portion of the ice is pulled away as you look at Derek King. Now the second hole.
See, the dark area is the new hole. The ice very thin in that area. You can see there. It doesn't look like there's a terrazzo floor underneath. There they get the slush and the water, and that's not going to make much difference because with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining, it's not going to freeze. What it does is just keeps it a little smoother. Skates are still going to go through it and dull them. That's one of the things. We've had players actually lose their careers in situations where ice has been involved. And Dale Rolfe, one of my old junior partners, Madison Square Garden. Fan Appreciation Night is set for Saturday, April the 1st, when the Islanders meet the Buffalo Sabres to conclude the regular season home game schedule. Every fan will receive a free sports water bottle, courtesy of Model Sporting Goods. Keep cool this summer with your favorite beverage in the sports bottle, your favorite team. That's Model Sporting Goods. Fan Appreciation Night, Saturday, April the 1st.
Well, we've missed the 4:55 flight home. They're still patching the ice. Another area here. Team, by the way, goes to Toronto tonight. Can't get back to New York from Winnipeg on a scheduled flight, so they're going to Toronto. We'll stay over there and be back in New York tomorrow morning. Steen. Read it up. Here's Elenick with a shot. Glove save by Mark Fitzpatrick. All right, the reflexes of that catching glove have just been shown for one of the few times.
Wow, what a stop by Mark Fitzpatrick. Here the Islanders get a little sloppy. Coming in quickly, the Winnipeg Jets. There's a puck dropped loose. There's the shot by Elenick. What a stop. A catching save by Mark Fitzpatrick. He held his ground, waiting for the right time, and he whipped his glove up quickly. Take a look. There's a hit by Brent Sutter on Steen. There's the shot by Elenick. What a stop by Mark Fitzpatrick.
He gets set for this face-off now to Fitzpatrick's right. Rick Bonas has pulled the goalkeeper. Asenza is on the bench. He has Steen, Howard Chuck, McBain, Elenick, and Olofsson out on the ice. Sutter on the draw, got it away from Steen. It's held in by Olofsson. Fakes as Sutter went down. Now Olofsson shot is blocked. The rebound banged in by McBain. Fitzpatrick makes the first save. McBain cuts it to 4-3 with 1 minute and 32 seconds left.
They win the face-off. That was the first priority. And from there, things start to happen. They get the puck to the net, forcing Fitzpatrick to make a save. There's the play. Back to the point position. Fake held the shot as Sutter went down. Then he just got it through. It was deflected. And on the rebound, Andrew McBain has brought the Winnipeg Jets within one. Olofsson shot the rebound. McBain. It's 4-3 with 1 minute and 32 seconds remaining on the clock. Things start to happen. There's Rick Bonas as he calls his team over. Wants to settle them down. Got the game plan. Of course, he hasn't had a lot of time to work on things that he wants in certain situations, but really it's puck control. Again, they've got to win the face-off. Al Arbor realizes that, so does Rick Wilson. Put the experience out there now, Flatley, Brent Sutter.
Steen and Olofsson got the assist on the goal at 18:28. Winnipeg playing with the extra man. 6 attackers in the Islander end of the ice. Now with 1 minute 20 left, they start out of their own zone. Asenza still on the ice as they play it to the Islander line. It's broken up by Brent Sutter. Time ticking down in the bottom right corner of your screen. Disappears with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go now. Elliott here in the left wing boards, comes to center and fires it into the far corner. Fitzpatrick covers it as it slid right across the front of the net. They'll get a face-off from the Islander end, and Asenza has gone to the Winnipeg bench.
59 seconds remaining in the third period. A face-off in the Islanders' end. Big face-off again. The last time the situation and the same side of the ice. Winnipeg win the draw, end up with a goal when Olofsson shot to the net. The rebound went to McBain. He just shoved it in the open side. His 29th goal of the season.
Now the Jets are going to take the timeout. The Islanders 0-6-1 in their last 7 games. 4 of the losses by 1 goal. Right now, they lead by 1, 4-3, with 59 seconds remaining in the third period. 34-year-old Rick Bowness talking to his team at the Winnipeg bench. Rick Wilson doing most of the talking at the Islander bench. Al Arbor was down talking with Ryan Trottier. Those out on the ice. Rick Wilson has had most of the conversation here.
So many times they do it over a season, particularly the Islanders. They've been in this situation now lately several times. Everybody with an assignment. Of course, the most important assignment is the face-off, gaining control of the puck. For the Islanders, they want to get the puck, shoot it down the ice. Not necessarily shoot it down the ice. They shouldn't say that because they do not want to keep creating face-offs in their own end of the ice.
Ron Hogarth trying to get them hustled up here. He can't get a flight out of here until tomorrow afternoon, he was telling me.
Where's he going?
St. Louis, I think he said. Next game. Some fans, some Islander fans, in order to get back home for school tomorrow, had to leave at the end of the second period today.
Catch the flight that we couldn't catch.
Mary Beth Moynihan headed home on that. Her dad went back to Minneapolis. And the clock ticking down here as the Jets back in their own zone, and Howardchuk shuffling off Trottier. Trottier, Sutter, and Flatley up front. Diddick Bergevin in defense. This is Olesen. Up the middle of the ice and gives it to Ellett on the left side. His shot blocked at the Islander line. It's loose. Picked up by McBain. He gets checked. Flatley drops it back. Bergevin clears it out to Patrick Flatley. Dumps it to the Winnipeg territory with 27 seconds left. Now it's Ellett. Ellett hammers one in around the boards. Fitzpatrick lets it go to the left side. Trottier stepped in front of Steen. The puck held in by Olesen. Then he turned it over to Bergevin, and he spins it out through center ice. 12 seconds remaining as Ellett comes back. Dave Ellett back to the net. The clock down to the final 5 seconds. He got it to Howardchuk. One long desperation shot off the pads of Fitzpatrick, and that'll do it. Mark Fitzpatrick has his first victory as the New York Islander. His record at 1-1-1 now, as the Islanders win here by a score of 4-3. So of the 2 new goaltenders, Fitzpatrick is the first to get a victory. Hackett's record 0-4-0. And they'll get to play again Tuesday night when they go home to meet the Boston Bruins. But they get a road victory. They had lost 6 straight on the road prior to today, the last victory being in Quebec City just prior to the All-Star break. See Al Arbor heading toward the Islander dressing room. It's never easy, however. This young team gave them a couple of anxious moments when McBain scored at 18-28. But the Islanders hold on and get themselves a 4-3 victory over the Jets. We'll be back with a recap from the Winnipeg Arena right after these messages.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
At 35 degrees below zero, this is conventional motor oil. But Mobil 1 still flows freely to protect vital engine parts faster.
I simply must go.
The answer is no.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Get Mobil 1 and beat the cold.
I'm talking cold.
The first-place New York Saints are out for a championship. Coors Light presents the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. This Sunday at 2 at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. The New York Saints, the Detroit Turbos. The final game of the regular season. Lightning fast. Gut-wrenching excitement. Flashing, rewarding, cross-checking, no holds barred. The Saints have 5 wins in a row. Now they'll send the Turbos packing back to Motown. Coors Light presents the showdown. The Saints versus the Turbos. You gotta see it to believe it.
New York Islanders hockey has been brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By EAB, the bank for Long Islanders. EAB, where you belong. And by Mobil 1 Synthetic Mobil Oil. Mobil 1, isn't your car worth the extra protection?
The New York Islanders have recorded their 6th road victory of the season, defeating the Jets 4-3 in Winnipeg this Sunday afternoon. 4-3 is the final. The shots on goal in the third period by the Jets 11, by the Islanders 8. 32 by each team through 60 minutes. The Islanders are 2 for 3 on the power play. The Jets are 1 of 6, and the only goal in the third period is McBain. Turns out to be his second of the game after one had been taken away from Howard Chuck. So McBain now with 29. Steen and Olafson assisting at 18-28. That came with the goalkeeper, Senza, on the bench for the extra man. And there are a couple of frantic moments at the end, and the Islanders persevere.
Yes, they did. They played as well as they had to play in a sense, Jake. They weren't really tested hard by the Winnipeg Jets. The Islanders cruising, I guess you could say, cruising to a win here, 4-3. But at the end, yes, things started to pick up a little bit when the Winnipeg Jets scored to make it 4-3. But that was about all the excitement in the third period. Very drab third period. I'm very surprised that the Winnipeg Jets didn't put on a much harder push to try and get back into the hockey game in the third period, and just kind of played into the hands of the Islanders, and they just played as well as they had to play to win the hockey game.
Is it a team that's concerned maybe right now about what's going to happen? Somebody might be traded, one of their stars, their captain might go before the trading deadline?
I suppose there's a lot of things going through the minds of the hockey players, but you know, that should really just disappear once the game starts. Once they drop the puck, you've got your assignments to do. Dale Howard-Chuck isn't supposed to be a defenseman. He's supposed to score goals. So he's got to go out and do that kind of thing. He looked like he was, he's got a laid-back motion to his game anyway, but he just didn't look like he was putting any kind of effort into it. He looked like he was playing like he wanted to be traded.
Yeah, he really did. And the one big hit on the game, really, we talked about it being a no-hitter in the first period, but Gary Nyland caught Numanen. Numanen had no idea that Nyland was in the area. Bang, Numanen's gone for the rest of the game. That really shouldn't have been a factor or a turning point, I wouldn't think.
No, not really, because at that point, the Winnipeg Jets weren't really putting a lot of pressure on the Islanders, and that kind of a hit, generally, you look for somebody from the home team. When things aren't going well, to go out and hit somebody, hit them with a good, clean check, and try and spur the rest of the team. Do something to lift the game up a little bit for the home team. They didn't do it. And the Islanders, of course, just had to play along and do what they had to do and do it best. They kept the puck out of their own end of the ice. That was the best way to keep from making any mistakes deep in their own end.
There were some good plays in the game, and Eddie has one selected as our Budweiser play of the game.
Well, the Budweiser play of the game, I think the power play goal by Pat LaFontaine. Down in the Islanders' end of the ice, Jeff Norton. There's LaFontaine. He's picking up speed there. Norton knows he's there. Now he looks over, checks to see how far ahead, checks again, and then he slides the puck. LaFontaine quickly, as he turns Gillen outside, goes in. A beautiful shot by LaFontaine, top left corner. That was the goal that made it 3-1. LaFontaine scoring in the second period. This Bud's for you, Pat.
And the Islanders win it 4-3 at the Winnipeg Arena. We'll have more of our wrap-up after we pause for these messages.
This is a brand new $18,000 car. Put in a leading motor oil. This is an identical new car. Put in Mobil 1. Start them up and drive. Under extreme conditions, temperatures inside your engine can reach 570 degrees. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more. But then, under extreme conditions, look at what can happen to conventional motor oil. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
At North General, we get more than 1,000 patients every day. The National Executive Service Corps made it possible for our staff and management to develop a quality hospital for this medically underserved area. Volunteer consultants from the NESC help turn...
Kind of an individual, you know he has to be hurting if he's not in the lineup.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. There is no score. Winnipeg has 10 seconds left in the power play as they move it into the Islander zone. McBain put it back to the net. Randy Wood over to try and knock it away from Howard Chuck. Now Larson moves it around the boards. Here's Olafson at the right side. Long shot is way wide of the net. Teams are at 6 aside again, and Ellett picks up the puck at center ice. The Jets did not have a shot on goal with the man advantage, but here's Ellett. Lets one go. He scores! The defenseman, Dave Ellett, rips one by Mark Fitzpatrick, and it's 1-0.
Islanders did not give up a shot on goal when they were a man short. The first play after the penalty is over, Ellett fires it between the legs of Mark Fitzpatrick. Here's the play as Ellett steps across the line with time in about 40 feet. He put it right between the pads, and it's a 1-0 hockey game. His 19th goal of the season. Here's Dave Ellett. Good move as he steps around Bergevin and then whistles it. Fitzpatrick in an odd position. When the puck reached him, he was going down on one pad. The puck went off his left pad between the legs.
19th goal of the season for Dave Ellett. Scored at 6:26 of the opening period. And the Jets are up 1-0. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, for the team, for the sweat, for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood Aged Budweiser.
This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you.
A happy face on Dave Ellett. Bowling Green State University. Went to school and played hockey. 5th NHL season. What a blast. Kind of an awkward goal for Mark Fitzpatrick to give up.
Now Ashton rushes the puck in for Winnipeg. Fed it back to Ellenuk, who was coming late. LaFontaine tied him up in the corner. Jets control it again. Dean fires one toward the net. Cleared aside by Fitzpatrick, and now the whistle sounds. And referee Ron Hogarth looking at Pat LaFontaine. He seemed to get tangled up with Ellenuk.
He's cut, Jigs. There's blood now coming out of him all over the ice. Whether he got hit with a skate, it's around his left ear or side of his face somewhere.
He got a teammate skate along the side of the face yesterday. Not the skate blade, just the boot of it. And today, see him being helped toward the Islander dressing room with trainer Mark Aldridge.
There is blood on the ice, so he's been cut when he collided with the Winnipeg Jet player. Take a look. It's just to the left of the Islander net. Billy Sutherland, the assistant coach for the Winnipeg Jets, wearing the headset. He has survived all of the... I mean, there's been a lot of changes made in this franchise from the beginning.
Face off, the circle to the left of the Islander net. Brent Sutter taking the draw against Laurie Boschman. Diddick takes it behind the goal to Volek. Now to Sutter. Sutter playing it in around the boards. Asenza cuts it off and fed it to Donnelly. Drops it back in behind the net for Frederick Olesen. It was Olesen and Duncan who got assists on Ellett's 19th goal of the season. 1-0 Winnipeg as Olesen comes over the Islander line. Skipped around Diddick, then couldn't catch up with the puck again. Collision on the end boards. Fenton in jabbing at the puck. It's kicked around by McBean to Volek. Now to Sutter. Back to David Volek. Moves in on Randy Carlisle. Cut inside Carlisle. Lets the shot go off the blocking glove of Asenza. Loose in the corner. Boschman gets a stick on it. He's giving it to Olesen. Now to Donnelly, who dumps one in from center ice. 12 minutes remaining in the opening period. Diddick with it at the side of the Islander net. Played it off the skates of Volek. Oh, and a good stop by Fitzpatrick. Knocked loose momentarily, then covered again by Fitzpatrick as Paul Fenton was right there as Volek got a miscue in front of the net.
Wow, off the skate of the defenseman, the puck laid there. Fenton was right there on top of the puck. An alert move by the goaltender. Obviously, his attention has to be on the puck no matter who's got it. There's the puck off Volek's skate. A backhand shot, a quick one by Paul Fenton. A good stop by Fitzpatrick. The Islanders look like they get back quickly, but Mark Fitzpatrick having an anxious moment here. Diddick comes out from behind, then his pass is in the skate. Fenton's backhand shot, and Fitzpatrick making the save. Another mistake. A moment ago, Olesen almost beat. He was all but around Gerald Diddick. One-on-one situations. It's much like a breakaway. It's a much easier job for the defenseman to take the puck carrier one-on-one than it is for the puck carrier to beat a defenseman.
Now the Jets get to dry here, and Ellett's shot went off Howard Chuck, comes back to the right side, and is shot high and wide. Taglianetti got that one underway. Patrick Flatley clears it out through center ice, and here's Makela. Nico Makela with a shot. Hit Taglianetti. It's off to the side of the net. Asenza covered it for a moment, then let it go to Kulak. Kulak puts it in center ice. Bergevin for the Islanders. To Makela, who's backhanded one in high and wide of the net, taken by Ellis. Dave Ellis is one of the 6 players chosen to participate in that puck shoot that never did materialize at the All-Star game because of problems we had with the radar gun. But Ellis can certainly fire it.
Yeah, he's got a laser beam for a shot.
The Islanders trail 1-0 as a result of that shot. Now Randy Wood is across the line. Drop pass to Flatley, who's coming in. Flatley can't get completely around Ellis. There's Randy Wood freeing the puck. Drops it back to the point. Gary Nyland shot it wide. Makela gets turned around with Kulak as Wood centered one right into the goal mouth. That's covered now by Asenza. The Winnipeg Jets leading the Islanders 1-0. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
In March, join the countdown to Mets opening day with Sports Channel. Spring training is finally here, and we've got all the bases covered. Leading off, it's your chance to be a part of the action when Fran Healy hosts 2 live call-in shows featuring special Mets guests direct from Florida. Next up, don't miss Mets 89 season preview, a complete team rundown including interviews, stats, and features. Everything you need to know about this year's squad. The countdown to opening day starts in March on Sports Channel.
Winnipeg penalty on the play just a moment ago. That's Kulak in the box.
Randy Wood trying to get the puck to the front of the net. Kulak draws the penalty. The Islanders go to the power play.
9:04 is the time of the penalty. The Islanders also 2 for 11 in games against the Jets this season, but overall the Islanders with the 4th best power play in the league. 22.8% efficiency, 73 goals on 320 opportunities, and this is Norton shooting one from the point, deflected wide. Sutter with Volek and Kerr up front. Dean got it to the line. Diddick held it in for Norton. His pass is blocked and brought out by Ashton. Brent Ashton turns, dumps it into the Islanders zone. Kite and Newman on defense. Dean is the other forward, killing it off for the Jets. Norton's pass to Volek. He cuts to right wing, got checked, and it's deflected on into the Islander players' bench.
Another dimension of Brent Ashton is you get a look at David Volek. Dating of Dave Volek, everybody has been hearing about. The word is around the league now. Everybody wants to know about David Volek. People that follow closely the Winnipeg Jets and the NHL. Ashton talked about him being a brand new father. And the teams that he's played on, I can't believe the teams. Of course, I suppose when he's on a team like Winnipeg, a lot of other teams want him. That's how come he gets up, ending up on 6 different hockey teams.
Talking to the new coach here today, prior to the game, he was really high in his praise of Brent Ashton, wasn't he?
Well, he does everything. He plays on the power play, regular shift, kills penalties. He's out there now. Does everything you could ask at 100% every game.
Brent Sutter chasing the puck, trying to get it away from Ashton. Now back to Norton. Norton with a shot, stick saved by Asenza. This is Gerald Diddick. To Sutter. Newman tying him up. Alan Kerr takes it loose, and Sutter went to the deck. Kerr, what a battle with Newman. He gets it to Sutter, back to Kerr. Dean knocks it loose. Kerr with it again into Brent Sutter. Plays it behind the net. Didn't have enough on it to get it to Volek in time. It comes back to Norton. Jeff Norton pulled it away from Ashton and starts in. Played it off the boards as Sutter was reaching for it. The Islander captain bothered from behind now by Newman. Dean there as well. Sutter plays it around Newman to David Volek. Volek working the boards. Got it to Kerr. Sutter. Volek cruising in front of the net. The puck comes back to Diddick with 18 seconds to the power play, and he scored. Gerald Diddick from the blue line. It may have been deflected on the way in, but it's tied at 1.
Hit the goalpost for one thing. What a shot. Fooling Asenza. The Islanders doing the best to control the puck. They finally get a hold of it, and Sutter finds Diddick open just inside the blue line. Watch to the left of the goaltender. Here comes the shot. You could hear it clunk as it goes off the goalpost. It's a 1-1 tie. Power play goal for the Islanders. It was the only shot they had on the power play. They make it work as Gerald Diddick, a quick one. He puts it in the top right-hand corner. Nice shot by Gerald Diddick. A 1-1 tie here with 9 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first period. Diddick, a power play goal.
That's his 7th goal of the season. A long time since Gerald Diddick has scored. He was putting him on the board consistently early on in the season. And now gets his power play to tie it at 1. Howardchuk centering the puck. Went off Fitzpatrick in the Islander net. Comes back to Carlisle. Randy Carlisle shot. Glove save by Fitzpatrick, and he holds onto it. Well, they did not blow the whistle, and Carlisle got it at the point. Shot one wide. Here's Howardchuk putting it in front. Patrick Flatley after it for the Islanders. Flatley to Makela. Moves on Carlisle, then got checked at the line. Flatley picks up a loose puck. It's up on edge. Flatley centers it back to the far side. It's Bergevin with a drive. That went off the ankle of McBean. Wayne McBean hurting, or McBain, I should say, for Winnipeg, not McBean. We got 2 of them here in the lineup today, and it's McBain hobbling down toward the Winnipeg dressing room immediately. Ellett rounds the goal. Now through center ice is Duncan with a pass for Boschman that's blocked. Cleared out by Norton. Tom Fitzgerald has played it deep into the Winnipeg territory. Taglianetti picks it up, and that'll be an icing against the Islanders. We pause now for a local break. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
Reading, writing, and interacting with other students may seem natural for most youngsters, but for others, these skills take time to learn. At the New York Institute for Special Education, the Van Cleef program helps students who are emotionally disturbed and learning disabled conquer their disabilities. Small classroom settings, counseling, and an intensive athletic program are just several components that enable students to develop confidence and reach their maximum potential. Call the Institute and give your child the chance to succeed.
Getting ready for a face-off in the Islander end of the ice. The Islanders out shooting the Jets 7-6. We have just under 8 minutes remaining in the opening period. It's been Ellett for Winnipeg, Diddick for the Islanders. Couple of defensemen with the goals, and we're tied 1-1. Bill Torrey, Islander general manager, at the game this afternoon. He was in Toronto last night. Watched the Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks. Was seen on every television set in Winnipeg. Not heard, but seen sitting in the press box there last night. Wonder what's going on as the trading deadline is a little less than 48 hours away now.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Nothing that we've been told.
Yeah, well, it usually comes out pretty quickly, particularly in places like Winnipeg. This is the only thing in town, the Winnipeg Jets.
Pass for Fenton is blocked at the Islander blue line. Yeah, you've been on every radio station miles around today, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I got a controversial, you know.
Yeah. You're going to do it after the game, too, I understand.
I am?
Are you not? Well, I thought you were. The post game? I thought I had you booked on that.
No.
I got my 10%.
Yeah, you got it already, and
I said it.
You haven't told me about it.
I said it. Nachos and but all it covered. Just over 7 minutes to go in this opening period as Jim Kite plays the puck up the right side on Kulak. Pat LaFontaine went to the Islander dressing room, was cut. And McBain for Winnipeg has gone to their dressing room after blocking a shot. Right on the ankle. Loose puck in the Islander zone, and Diddick slaps one around the boards, and that'll go the length of the ice. Chasing it is Numanen. Derek King comes in. An icing call against the Islanders.
I wonder who's going to throw the first body check in this hockey game. Generally, a game here in Winnipeg would have some physical contact, but so far, both teams kind of skating up and down the ice. Don't touch me, I won't touch you.
Got a no-hitter going here today. 20-year-old Martin Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, a moment ago you were looking at 27, Teppo Numanen, Finnish player.
Fitzpatrick and Bill Smith talking a lot about the art of goaltending the last couple of days. Understand, Bill Smith was telling me in the hotel lobby today that he started his 3rd book on this road trip. Finished 2. Started the 3rd.
You mean
one.
writing or reading?
Reading.
I see.
Oh, gosh, let's hope he stops writing.
I just asked him about the goal. He thinks that goal that was scored, first goal of the game, was a deflection. I asked him about it. It seemed awkward the way Mark Fitzpatrick had turned, and he said, I believe it hit the defenseman's stick and changed direction.
Ah.
So we'll have to take a look at that when we do the replays between the periods.
Here's Gillen rushing the puck into the Islander zone. McBean knocked him down. Fitzpatrick putting it back to the net. It comes right out in front. Fitzpatrick, a pad save. Gillen got a poke at it. what victimized the Islanders yesterday in Minnesota. Goals that were scored from the back or the side of the net. You see the jostling after the whistle now.
Yeah, the goaltender usually gets the worst of this. He gets trampled by the players trying to push away at each other. Some rough round dancing. There he is hiding back in the net saying, well, you guys get out of my net.
The Islanders won, the Winnipeg Jets won. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
The Clydesdales, the symbol of Budweiser quality, of Beechwood aging, the choicest natural ingredients, and a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
Getting ready for this face-off, you see Dale Howardchuk and Brent Sutter, the respective captains of the two teams, on the draw, and the Islanders up with the puck in their own zone. Jeff Norton to Sutter. Picks it up again at center ice. Tried to dump it in. It hit Carlisle. Gave it to McBain, to Howardchuk. Across to Carlisle. Sutter's one in front to Duncan. Fitzpatrick made the save. And here's Dale Henry.
A good save by Fitzpatrick.
Henry chasing the puck as Olesen come back. Indeed, it was an excellent save as Winnipeg in a neat passing play set it up well. Now Howardchuk steps over the line. Howardchuk a wraparound. It hit Carlisle and comes outside the Islanders zone. The veteran defenseman dumps it in. Carlisle is another name you hear in trade rumors surrounding this Winnipeg team. Kane picks up a loose puck, steps over the line. Got checked. Recovers in time to feed it to Dave Ellett. There's that bullet just wide of the net. McBain trying to center one. That was deflected and goes over the glass and on into the seat.
What a blast by Ellett. Just inches outside the goalpost. Now we got a little heavy conversation going with Ellett and one of the Islanders, I believe Jeff Norton. Mentioned Norton. He and Ashton were at it. Lip service. Here's the play. Carlisle took the pass. There's the play across to the centerman going up the middle. Good stop there off the left shoulder.
Dale Howardchuk, another name that you've been reading and hearing a great deal about. Reportedly, the New York Rangers have made an offer for him. Reportedly, allegedly, the Philadelphia Flyers have done the same. Talking with the people here in Winnipeg, they don't think the Jets are going to do anything by the trading deadline. But with reservation, they say they don't think he'll be in a Winnipeg uniform next season.
He's playing like he wants to be traded, some people feel. He has a laid-backness about him the way he plays anyway. Maybe it's affecting too many people now. Quite a trapped, I suppose, Winnipeg. They're a little trapped as the Islanders try to prevent the puck from getting out from behind the net.
Ashton was tied up at the side of the goal. Here's Helena coming out in front. The shot blocked by Fitzpatrick. Bergevin moves it around the boards. Patrick Flatley for the Islanders. Clears the zone. Jets with it again at center ice. Taglianetti to Steen. It's knocked away from him. Makela puts it in the Winnipeg territory. Senza leaves it back to the net. Looking down at the Islander players bench from our location. Pat LaFontaine has not returned. McBain, who has been shaken up earlier in this period, has returned for Winnipeg. Norton played it deeper into his own zone. There's Nyland. Makela couldn't get it outside the line. Ashton back to Ellett, and it spins outside the blue line this time. Taglianetti with it. The score tied 1-1. Over 4 minutes remaining in the opening period at Winnipeg as Makela comes over the line, left the puck for Flatley, shoots a sense of the save. He was down on his knees and gets hammered. And now this will draw a meeting as Randy Wood cut through the goalmouth. He really ran a Senza. And this is the result, the reaction of the players as the Senza is back to his pad. He was down very early making that save.
Randy Wood's concentration was on the puck, not so much on the goaltender. He went diving out for the puck. And as he dove out, Wood cutting through there, ran into him.
Senza back on his skates. Conversation is over, it appears. The score is tied 1-1. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
Many Americans are not aware that this year you can actually get money back without filing a tax return. There have been no official announcements about it. It's not explained in your instruction booklet, and you won't read about it in any reference guide. Why hasn't the government told you about this? They have nothing to do with it. It's from Subaru.
Get up to $1,000 back or 4.9 financing on a Subaru through May 2nd.
Nico Makela led the rush for the Islanders. Across the line, drops the puck back. Flatley's shot, and Wood is coming through looking for the rebound. And as the goaltender, Asensa, reaches out for the puck to control the rebound, he gets spun around.
Now Trache squaring on the faceoff with Gillen. Gillen put it back into his own zone for Kite. And Teppo Numminen comes to center ice. Numminen got bumped, as did Gillen. Well, back go the Jets. 1-1 is the score on a Sunday afternoon. A pretty sunny day here in Winnipeg. Not that cold.
Not for here.
No. Well, not really for this time of the year when you consider what it could have been. What it was last night when we arrived. Just below 0 Fahrenheit.
They don't do wind factors here.
No.
When it's cold, it's just plain cold.
Plug the car heater in, the block heater. Kulak over the line, got upended by Bergevin as he tried to cut in under the fence.
Good stop by Mark Fitzgerald. Or Fitzpatrick. Fitzgerald's on the right wing side.
And LeMay is back for the puck. Dumps it down into the Islander zone. Bergevin there. Number 39 has given it to Gilbert, to Kerr, now to Sutter. Played it between the skates of Kerr. Now comes Paul Fenton as Boschman with him on the right side. 3 Islanders back. The pass to Boschman. Lines up for a shot blocked by Norton. Kerr turned it over. There's Donnelly's shot. A bad save by Fitzpatrick with Fenton right in the goal mouth. Fenton pokes the puck into the corner. Comes out to Boschman. Bad save again. This time Fitzpatrick stuck the right one out to block it. And Alan Kerr comes over center. Got it in around Carlisle. Olafson and King there together. It's tipped in front. Kerr, a backhander. He scored! Alan Kerr cuts through in front of the net, and the Islanders lead 2-1.
Back-to-back stops at the Islanders' end by Mark Fitzpatrick. Back come the Islanders. They pop it in with Alan Kerr on the rebound. Derek King. Here's Kerr. He shoots the puck in. Racing down the left side. King slaps it to the front of the net. There's the rebound and a quick backhand by Alan Kerr in front of Randy Carlisle, and the Islanders have a 2-1 lead with 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Alan Kerr's backhand shot just under the crossbar, a beauty, and it's a 2-1 Islander lead. His 12th goal of the season for Alan Kerr.
17:34, the time of that goal. So after Ellen had staked Winnipeg to a 1-0 lead, Diddick tries it, and Kerr gives the Islanders the lead. Makela comes over the line, trying to go around Olafson. Puts it behind the net. There's Carlisle. He lost it to Flatley. Patrick Flatley to Wood, and a shot turned aside by Asensa. McBain checked by Makela in the corner. Here's Flatley. Patrick Flatley got away from Olafson, gave the puck to Wood. Carlisle knocks it off his stick. Randy Wood, with help from Flatley, they continue to battle for it. It's under Carlisle, and finally held for a face-off.
Randy Carlisle down on the ice protecting the puck. You see Pat Flatley there giving a little lip to the referee about the fact Carlisle used his hand to put the puck under his body and then stop the play. Veteran defenseman Randy Carlisle, Norris Trophy winner in 1980-81 season with the Pittsburgh Penguins. When they acquired him here with the Winnipeg Jets to go along with Howard Chuck, the scenario, much like a lot of general managers want to put together with the Howard Chuck forward, the star up front, a good point man and strong defenseman in Randy Carlisle, but the skill around all of that never happened.
Some criticism of the number of players they drafted from the college ranks, not having developed.
Well, you heard many of the people here at Winnipeg, as far as management, talking about how well they have done with the college players, but it did not work out. Puck over into the seats. Stoppage of play, minute and 38 seconds remaining here in the first period. The Islanders have taken a 2-1 lead. They fell behind 1-0 on a hard shot by Ellett. Gerald Diddick tied it up at 1-1. Here's a hit here as Bergevin got a piece of him, and then Gerald Diddick finished him off.
And the Winnipeg Jets get the draw on their own end of the ice here. Peter Taglianetti up to Brett Ashton. Ashton puts it in the Islanders zone. That's Gilbert going after it.
that Kulak that they hit? Couldn't tell. They tipped him over upside down so quickly I couldn't catch his number. I thought it was Kulak.
Was Drew Kulak, yeah. Now the puck goes out of play right at the Islander bench. Go back to that note about the number of players that they've drafted from colleges. Since 1979, 64 college drafts by the Winnipeg Jets, and only 4 that have played regular here this season. Taglianetti, Barry, who's not in the lineup today, Ellett, and Duncan. Taglianetti from Providence, Barry from North Dakota, Ellett and Duncan both out of Bowling Green. There's Peter Taglianetti from Providence College.
Yeah, good defenseman. Played well for Winnipeg. And I think the theory, at least some people feel the theory for doing that was that they would mature in the college ranks. They did not have to sign them right away, so financially it wasn't as large a burden to have college players as draftees and keep them in college.
Now Brent Sutter brings the Islanders over the Winnipeg line, lost the puck to Ellett. On past to Steen, almost across 3 lines. Certainly across 2, and an offside pass is determined by the linesman. Brad Lazarowicz and Randy Mitten working today's game. On the line, as you look at the new coach of the Winnipeg Jets, 34-year-old Rick Bowness, former second-round draft pick for the Atlanta Flames.
Did he get an endorsement lately for next year, or is he still kind of out in the wings? There's some story circulating around that Teddy Green, the assistant coach of the Edmonton Oilers, has been cited as a possible coach for next year. I can't understand why they would bring in Rick Bowness, who seems to be quite capable. He's been an outstanding American Hockey League coach.
Shot from the point by Bergevin. Well, I don't think they could get Glenn Sather to agree to let Ted Green go mid-season like that.
Yeah, it was almost bordering on the edges of tampering, according to Glenn Sather. Fool with one of my coaches.
Loose puck in the Islanders zone, picked up by Boschman. Went to center one and hit Bergevin. Now comes around the boards off Taglianetti's skates. Bergevin took a hit as he moved it out to center ice. That was Kulak stepping into Bergevin. King can't handle it at the Winnipeg blue line. Bergevin with it at center. Bangs it off the boards, and back goes Ellett. 15 seconds remaining in the opening period. Dave Ellett with a pass off Boschman's stick. Now to Kulak. Bergevin evens the score, running Kulak into the board.
Kulak trying to pay some people back, but he's still getting thumped this time by Bergevin.
And as the puck goes into the Islanders zone, the horn sounds ending the opening period. Mark Fitzpatrick with a couple of very big saves. Good effort for that young man as the Islanders take a 2-1 lead to the dressing room. At the end of one period, you see them file down the runway toward the dressing room, which is directly behind the players' bench here at the Winnipeg Arena. Did it concur with the Islander goals? Ellett for Winnipeg, and at the end of one, it's the Islanders over the Winnipeg Jets, 2-1. We'll be back with a recap right after these messages.
The first place New York Saints are...
Why would anyone need another?
Here at the Winnipeg Arena between periods, my guest is Tommy Fitzgerald. And Tom, you were just saying that you didn't expect to be playing with the Islanders this year. You thought maybe you'd play out the year in Springfield?
Well, yeah, I really did, because last year when I was playing at Providence College and when I turned pro, I expected, you're going to put in your full year, maybe even 2 years down in the minors, just to get adjusted to the professional level, and then after that, see what happens.
That accent, you obviously give yourself away as a New Englander, and particularly from Melrose, Massachusetts. Ever a Boston Bruins fan?
Oh, definitely. I was born in Melrose, but I grew up in Billerica. But I always was a Boston Bruins fan, Bobby Orr fan, Johnny Busick, even yourself.
How do you adjust now? You were, all the teams you played on in Hockey East for Providence, and of course in Springfield, you were scoring well. You had 24 goals in 60 games, a lot of ice time, and that changes now. Is that a hard adjustment for a player like you?
Well, I'm not expecting to come right up here with the Islanders, playing a power play, kill penalties every other shift. No, definitely not. I know I have to watch. I have to, take my time and just adjust to this level like I did in Springfield.
What if I ask you, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses as a hockey player?
Well, I think my strengths as a hockey player is that I give 110% every time I get out there, whether it be 2, 3, 4 shifts a period. I know I won't quit. And my weaknesses, I don't think I have the best hands in the world, or even my skating, but I won't let that hold me back.
When you practice, do you practice some of the weaknesses? Does the coach work with you with that?
Well, yeah. We'll always have to practice doing shots, taking shots in the goaltenders, whether coming in from the blue line, stand still, whatever. I think that helps a lot with Coach Aber and the rest of the coaching staff.
Now, when you were thinking about and finally arrived at the time coming to the Islanders, any surprises when you arrived here, or is it about what you expected?
Well, I really didn't know what to expect. I was up in Spring Heath for most of the year, and coming up here, I played my first professional game in Chicago, and that was something else. The big horn, and that was something else. And then they sent me back after that, and I went up to Quebec, scored my first NHL goal, and it was just something else.
How about where you think you'd like to be next year? As far as you're playing basically in a fourth line position now, and you're at right wing, and most of the time you've been a center iceman, have you?
Oh, in Springfield I have, but towards the latter part of there in Springfield, Jimmy Roberts slid me over to the right just to experiment a little, and I think maybe people up here asked him to do that just to see how I felt over there. And next year, I think I'd like to be up here with the Islanders, whether it be playing right wing or center. I think I could help and contribute to the team.
You played on the World Junior team, didn't you, for the United States?
Yeah, 1987. I did, and that was something else over in Europe. Went over to Czechoslovakia for about 3 weeks, and that was something else.
Must be fun to play on a team where everybody's almost the same age, or you're kind of looked upon as a team that has a destiny in the next 2 or 3 years, a certain responsibility.
Yep, I could play with guys like Brian Leach, who's he's probably going to win the Rookie of the Year. Scott Young, playing with Hartford, Craig Janey. And it was something else. Everybody was the same age. There was no older people. It was nice. It was a nice clique.
Tommy Fitzgerald, thank you for the visit. It's going to be fun to watch your career unfold here with the New York Islanders.
Thank you very much, Westwell.
Tommy Fitzgerald has been my guest here between periods at the Winnipeg Arena, and we'll return here right after these messages. At the Winnipeg Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 2-1, the Islanders lead at the end of the first period. It was Dave Ellett that opened the scoring for the Winnipeg Jets. A tremendous blast. That's number 2, Ellett. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Played at Bowling Green University, and he can shoot the puck, and he demonstrated there. I believe that puck did go off a stick. As Billy Smith reported, Reed Larson had his stick out. The puck going off Reed Larson's stick, fooling Mark Fitzpatrick. A 1-0 lead. Ellett, his 19th goal of the season from Olofsson and Duncan. Goal coming at 6:26 of the first period. The Islanders, Gerald Diddick on a power play. That shot off the goalpost to the left of Asensa, and it was a 1-1 tie. Diddick with his 7th goal of the season. Brent Sutter and Alan Kerr assisting. Goal scored at 10:48, tying the game at 1-1. And then the go-ahead goal for the Islanders, Alan Kerr eventually gets the goal. You see him coming out of his own end, picking up steam against Randy Carlyle. Shoots the puck in. Derek King here pounds the puck to the front of the net. There's the loose rebound, and before Randy Carlyle can check Alan Kerr, he's got a backhander in the top left-hand corner. Kerr is 12th. He's got the hot hands lately from Brent Sutter. And King, 17:34 the time of the goal, and the Islanders had a 2-1 lead. We'll be back for the start of the second period in just a moment. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel.
How hot can it get inside your car's engine? This hot. 570 degrees under extreme conditions. Take a leading motor oil. Take Mobil 1 and watch. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more. But under extreme conditions, when you see what can happen to conventional motor oil, it doesn't pay to play with fire. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
Long Island is a beautiful place to live, and Long Islanders are a very friendly bunch. Maybe it's because we share a very special secret. It's as lovely here in winter as it is all summer long.
This is Roger McDowell. This is Gary Carter for the Foster Care Network. Did you know that each month over 1,000 New York children become homeless, neglected, abused, abandoned, or their parents are too poor or too sick to care for them? These children have a chance if good foster homes are found for them. but there's a critical shortage of good foster homes. To find out how you can become a foster parent, call the Foster Care Network, serving all boroughs.
Well, Pat LaFontaine is back from being stitched up. Look along his left ear. Somewhere around the ear he got cut. You can see the mark there on the lower part of the ear. He's been stitched up back in the lineup. And behind his ear, too, by the look of it, that's a skate cut. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Islanders, and it's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Islanders and Sports Channel is prohibited. Well, Al Arbor, you've done it again. Well, we don't know whether it's Al. Somebody has done something because the Islanders are going to start the period a man short. A delay of the game penalty. Wayne McBean is in the penalty box, obviously having a fun time with one of the off-ice people. It's a delay of the game penalty. I don't know where that came out, unless they didn't come out onto the ice to start the period in time. That
Pat LaFontaine is going to serve it. Wayne McBean is coming back to the Islander bench.
I guess it not necessarily has to be somebody that was on the ice when the infraction occurred, because it may have occurred off the ice. Maybe the Islanders were late coming out to start the second period. There's a certain time that you have to be out of the dressing room and on the ice. The only thing I can think of right now, but it's a power play for the Winnipeg Jets, their second of the hockey game.
Islanders up 2-1 here at Winnipeg. As you see the Jets set up in their own end of the ice. That's Frederick Olofsson with the puck. Played it to the left side for Dave Ellis. Now to Duncan off his stick, right to Fitzpatrick. Got it to Brent Sutter. Sutter, using the right wing boards, puts it down into the Winnipeg end of the ice.
Paid a price for doing it also. Ian Duncan bangs him into the boards. Not a lot of hitting in this hockey game yet. I suppose it's going to take one person to belt somebody with a hard check, and then it'll break loose.
Jets have to chase it. That came off the glass at the penalty box. Tips to the right side in the Winnipeg zone. Brent Sutter after it. Played it around Olofsson. It's picked up now by Dave Ellis. Pollock spinning around, unable to knock it away from him. McBean comes over the line for Winnipeg. Got it to Ian Duncan. Pollock took him into the boards. The pass back to the point for Olofsson. To Ellis. Ellis able to hold it right on the line. Now Olofsson gets a stick on it. Olofsson through a screen, and that's deflected, goes out of play. 38 seconds left in the Islander penalty for delaying the game at the start of the second period.
We were told, apparently, one of the off-ice officials filled in some of our people, our technical people, and they said that the reason for the delay of the game was that one of the Islanders, at the end of the period, instead of going to the dressing room, took a skate. Like a loosening up skate around the ice. I didn't know that was a punitive action. I never heard of that one before, but apparently he didn't go to the dressing room like he was supposed to. You know how they hold up now. They hold up the visiting team, let the home team get off the ice or into the wards or dressing room, and then they release the players. And apparently somebody on the Islanders went for a leisurely skate, and that was the reason for the delay of the game. And I don't know why that delays the game, but I suppose it's the only way they can call it. Winnipeg again offside.
And they move in the line here, the man on the left side ahead of the play. Remember, it used to be if you didn't get much ice time, 2 or 3, 4 guys would come out and skate around and around and around at the end of the period, then go to the dressing room. But not anymore. And somebody, as you pointed out, just went for a Sunday afternoon skate here at the end of the first period. That's a no-no. Patrick Flatley takes a look at the clock. 24 seconds left in the Islander penalty. Wood and Flatley up front. Diddick and Bergevin on defense. For Winnipeg, Ellenuk, Steen, Newman, Carlisle, and Brett Ashton. Randy Carlisle handling the puck at center. Chased back by Wood, who stole his pass. Randy Wood checked by Carlisle. Then Wood ends up in the goal mouth, and the net comes off. That's twice now that Randy Wood and Asenza have had a close-up meeting.
Randy Carlisle trying to make a cross-the-ice pass, and Randy Wood using his stick very effectively. That's one of the areas that Randy Wood has been working on, and it's starting to pay dividends. Watch his stick. He intercepts the pass as Carlisle tries to put it across. Then he tries to use the body. What a good check by Randy Carlisle in desperation as Randy Wood went darting to the net. Asensa kind of got in the way, made a save off Wood as Carlisle knocked the puck off his stick. You see the players, one of the talents of some players using their body, legs, arms to protect the puck. And you could see Wood trying to protect the puck that time, but Carlisle dove and knocked it away.
Down the dry here, the Islanders. Trache got it back to Diddick for a shot. Blocked by Asenza. Taken by Steen. He puts it behind the net. And picks it up again. Moves it to the right side for Pat Allenuk. Drops it back. Over the line with it is Steen. Run into the boards neatly by Gilbert. Taglianetti gets checked at the line. Here's Pat LaFontaine with Trache. 2-on-1. LaFontaine can't get loose from Taglianetti. Dave Ellett moves out of the zone. Bumped from behind by Trache. Bergevin pokes the puck ahead. Now comes right back to him. Didn't get it around Steen. Trache drops it back into Bergevin. Now to Brian Trache. 2 men back as King comes down the left side. Trache shot steered aside by the goalkeeper, Bob Asenza. Here's Allenuk. Allenuk had a couple of goals against the Edmonton Oilers the other night. Fine rookie in the Winnipeg lineup this season. Out of Prince Albert. Western Canadian Junior Hockey League. Close call as LaFontaine and Nyland almost collided in the Islander end of the ice. Backcourt, Randy Carlisle of the Winnipeg Jets. To Frederick Olofsson. Goes cross ice. Ola May drops him off the stick of Fitzpatrick. Picked up in the far corner by Kulak. All the way back to the line, then plays it to the open wing. Fitzpatrick pokes it into the corner. Kulak after it. Back to Olofsson for a shot blocked by Norton. He's just cleared the zone, and Olofsson will shoot it right back in. Mark Fitzpatrick scoops it up, drops it off for Nyland. 2-1, the Islanders leading the Winnipeg Jets as Jeff Norton plays it to LaFontaine. He relays it into the Winnipeg zone wide of the net. This is Carlisle. Played it up through center ice. Brent Sutter, who has just come out of a player change, got it away from Gillen. Kerr got it right back to Sutter for a shot. Bad save. Henry, the rebound, and he can't get it by. Now Sutter bangs at it at the goal mouth. Carlisle backing up the Senza, and they've been able to hold it outside the goal line. The Islanders leading the Winnipeg Jets 2-1. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
The greatest city in the world. What better place for a university? A university with diverse courses of study and a distinguished faculty. And excellent facilities. The most technically advanced television production center of any school in the country. And tuition that's affordable, not restrictive. Yes, the city is New York. The university is St. John.
Winnipeg trying to open things up. The Islanders say thank you very much. Brent Sutter with his hard shot, right pad save by Asenza. And there, Dale Henry, as he tries to put the rebound in. Then Sutter tries to bring the puck back to the front of the net. Randy Carlisle. Asenza finally tying up the puck. Good scoring opportunity for the Islanders as they spring the puck loose in the center ice area.
Face off to the right of the goalkeeper, Asenza. Sutter, Henry, and Bollig up front. Jets move it to center. Bergevin had knocked it out of the air. And now Newman puts it in the Islanders' zone on the delayed offside. Dale Henry gets it up. Shot it off Donnelly. Patton picks it up. Right into Sutter. This is Diddick shooting one from outside the line off the pads of Asenza. Seppo Newman from back of the net. Turned it over to David Bollig. To the point for Diddick. Diddick sets up Henry here on the left wing. All around to Sutter. Takes it away from Newman. Sutter centers for Henry, and he couldn't get a shot away. Bollig has it. But the Winnipeg net has come loose. And here we go. Kite and Henry. Referee Hogarth blowing the whistle a couple of times, warning players from both teams to spread out a little bit as they stand and watch, as you are. Dale Henry back right into your view, and there's Jim Kite.
I don't know whether Dale Henry made contact, but he got his right hand loose just enough to throw a couple of right hand crosses. Whether or not the Kite received them or not, we don't know.
You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
The first-place New York Saints are out for a championship. Coors Light presents the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. This Sunday at 2 at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. The New York Saints, the Detroit Turbos. The final game of the regular season. Lightning fast, gut-wrenching excitement. Flashy, forwarding, cross-checking, no holds barred. The Saints have 5 wins in a row. Now they'll send the Turbos packing back to Motown. Coors Light presents the showdown. The Saints versus the Turbos. You gotta see it to believe it.
Dale Henry in the penalty box. Jim Kite for the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg's end of the ice. There's the players getting together in front of the net. Kite and Henry. Bang, take that. I won't take it. Now they're trying to get the arms loose. Henry finally did, and as I say, he fired a couple of pretty good right crosses, and whether they made contact, not sure. 4 minutes for Kite for roughing, 2 minutes for Dale Henry. That original push in front of the net, I guess, warranted a couple of extra minutes for Jim Kite.
The Islanders with the man advantage. LaFontaine, Kerr, and King up front. The defense made up of Diddick on the right, Norton on the left side. Gaglianetti slaps one off the glass. It's picked up by Gillen. Knocked off his stick by LaFontaine. He got it to Kerr. McBain all over Kerr as LaFontaine now frees it up for King in front to Kerr, and McBain was right on him. Here's Diddick in from the right point. King right back to Diddick. Draws the crowd, gave the puck to King. He couldn't handle it. Gaglianetti right on him. Looks like an Easter egg hunt as Gillen is pushing the thing all over the place behind the Winnipeg goal and gets called for a hand pass.
You hear somebody, one of the Winnipeg teammates, calling Gilly, Gilly, Gilly. That is in reference to, as you see, Gillen, Randy Gillen. He's from West Germany. That's where he was born. Rucken, Zurbrücken, I guess you'd say it, West Germany. Played for the Winnipeg Warriors as a junior. His 6th professional season. Belonged to the Hartford Whalers originally.
The Islanders still with 1 minute and 26 seconds left in this power play as Kerr takes the puck to the right wing. Trying to get it to King. Gaglianetti there to clear it back to the point where Diddick loves it, and it comes outside the line to Norton, and that's a hand pass. Referee Ron Hogarth looking at linesman Brad Lazarowicz, who made the call. Fortunes of today's game are brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for the distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Gerald Diddick tied the game in the first period with his 7th goal of the season. Interesting, that's another area that I think sometimes they ought to take another look at. When it's not a deliberate hand pass to a teammate. In other words, that time it was more of effect of Gerald Diddick trying to keep the puck in, and he batted at it and batted it laterally, and it went out over into the center ice area. Not intended, and if it's not a forward pass with the hand, I often think they ought to let the play continue.
Neat pass. Norton to LaFontaine. He cuts in and scores! Just like that on the power play, the Islanders lead 3-1. Jeff Norton put it right on LaFontaine's stick.
That's the thing you have to do with Pat LaFontaine. The only way to utilize his speed, or one of the ways to utilize it, is to pass it on his stick. There's Norton. What a nice pass. Flat on the ice. Pat LaFontaine just scoots on the outside of Gillen, and then with a backhand, he makes one quick move, goes to the backhand, upstairs, and it's in. There's the play. Jeff Norton. LaFontaine, backhand in the top of the net. Beautiful play. Pat LaFontaine gives the Islanders a 3-1 lead here in the second period. LaFontaine with his 35th goal of the season. Nice to watch. That's the idea on a power play. You see teams trying to do that. They try to execute that play, and more than often it doesn't work, but that time it did.
Diddick will get an assist on the goal as well. So Gerald Diddick with a goal and an assist here in Winnipeg today. Duncan in after the puck, got taken down, runs into the goalpost to the right of Fitzpatrick. The Islanders start out with it. Mark Bergevin carries it across the line. Right it behind Gilbert at center. Frederick Olofsson turns it over, and here's Fitzpatrick without the Fitzgerald, without the helmet. Whoops! Tripped over something out there, Mr. Westfall.
Yes, there he is. Tommy Fitzgerald.
What did he step on, Mr. Westfall?
He stepped on the blue line. That's what his teammates will tease him about. He's embarrassed right now. The play was offside, and what he was doing is he was holding up. It's an unwritten law that you don't shoot in this situation. Watch here. He hears the whistle there. Then he decides he's going to try and stop, and in doing so, he loses his balance A little how do you do. Stepped on a shoestring, tripped over the blue line, the poison dart. The guys will be teasing the daylights out of him, but that's part of the acceptance factor within a team. You know, it's very clannish, and people are not accepted inside the team. Obviously, players are, but you've heard players talk about the fact that when they're injured, they miss, and they don't feel like part of the team because they're not in on all the inside jokes and all the things that are going on, all the dialogue within the team. And that's probably one of the things that Tommy Fitzgerald will get teased about.
How long it'll be? I heard that interview with you, and he called you Mr. Westfall. How long before he calls you 18?
Oh, well, it probably won't take too long. It's, I suppose, the comfort range that we both will reach after being around each other, hopefully for a length of time.
Now, Ellenach gets into the Islanders' zone, but Norton reached in to knock it away from him. Giving it to Greg Gilbert. Out to center to Trottier. Brian Trotier's pass intercepted. They send Ashton in on the goaltender Fitzpatrick, and he hits the post. Ashton puts it back in the net now. It's centered and intended for Steen. Norton broke it up. Steen recovers, however. Gives it to Ellenach. To Ashton. Good play by Nyland to block that pass. This is Newman at the line. His shot deflected off Ashton. Goes to the corner for Trottier. Brian Trottier turned on Ashton and played it to the right side for Tom Fitzgerald. Can't get over center ice, however. Fitzgerald knocked it loose from Ellenach. Newman picks it up. Pass off Wood, a collision, Newmanen and Nyland, and Newmanen is down on the deck in the Islander end of the ice.
Wow, is he ever down on the deck. What a shot by Gary Nyland. It was a straight-up hit, a legal hit. We hadn't seen any hitting in the hockey game. Nyland caught Newmanen with his head down and looking the other way, crossing the blue line. Caught him in behind the left shoulder. What a hit. Watch here, Newmanen, Randy Wood in pursuit. Newmanen will look to his left, I believe, there as he starts to come across. There, you see him looking left, and before he knows it, bang, under the right shoulder. What a shot by Gary Nyland. Newmanen is down. He got his bell rung real good. We'll hope that he's not injured. That kind of a hit sometimes sends the shoulder. In this case, I believe it was his right shoulder. No, it's his left shoulder. You see how his left arm is hanging loose? Let's take another look at that hit. Newmanen makes a big mistake. He looks back to where he's passing the puck instead of ahead. There, watch his right shoulder. Yes. What a shot by Gary Nyland. That shook Nyland up also, but we'll hope that his right shoulder isn't as bad as what it appears to be right now. What a chance to get back into the hockey game. The Islanders cough up the puck in the center ice area, and there's a shot by Ashton off the goalpost to the right of Mark Fitzpatrick. Good chance for Brent Ashton as he broke up the middle. The Islanders careless in the center ice area, giving the puck away, and now we've got Newmanen gone to the dressing room. What happens there is when you get hit under the right shoulder, it pulls the shoulder, the arm up, and sometimes pulls it right out of the socket with that kind of a hit. Hope that it's not that bad.
Sounds like a voice of experience to me.
Oh, yeah.
Several times?
Oh, a couple.
Winnipeg just turned the puck over. Patrick Flatley unable to complete the play, however. Now at center ice, here's Mo LeMay. Former Vancouver Canuck goes in, centered one off the skates of Flatley as McBain was cutting to the front of the net, and now Bergevin puts it down into the Winnipeg zone. Asenza sweeps it aside for Carlisle. 12 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the second period. The New York Islanders leading the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 3-1. Diddick with a pass to Flatley. Carlisle knocked him off the puck. The Islanders making a player change. Nyland has come back out on defense for the Islanders, teamed up with Norton. Up front, it's Makela with Wood and Kerr. Howardchuk into the Islanders zone. Dale Howardchuk backs into the boards. The puck goes back to the net. Norton has given it to Makela. Makela gets tied up with LeMay. McBain put it wide of the net. There's Nyland feeding it up the right wing for Alan Kerr. On to Randy Wood. Couldn't pick it up in the right wing boards. And this will be an icing call against the Islanders.
Randy Wood now has Dale Howardchuk mad at him.
We have a mission here today. We're looking for Margot Kidder. This is just one of our efforts to find her in the audience here. Margot's in town along with Al Waxman and John Vernon. They're filming a movie in Winnipeg just now called Mob Story. It's a crime drama. Margot's just got a supporting role, so I figured if they weren't shooting today, she'd probably be at the game, and
she'd probably look for you later.
I doubt it.
You society people seem to always get together somehow. You work your way through the crowds very nicely.
$2 million
budget for a movie in Winnipeg. I wonder just how good it will be. They do a lot of filming in Vancouver, obviously because of the beauty there with the Pacific Ocean and the mountains, and a lot of Canadian cities. Toronto, obviously.
Now it's moved on to Winnipeg, and the Islanders put the puck back in for Kerr, but it's offside. A little less than 12 minutes remaining in the second period as these two teams complete their season series. Boy, Winnipeg beat the Islanders 8-1 at the Nassau Coliseum. Their first game after they had fired general manager John Ferguson. And the next time they met, it was under Mike Smith as the general manager. Dan Maloney is the coach. Now today, Mike Smith is still the general manager. The man you just saw on the bench, Rick Bowness, is the head coach. The Islanders up 3-1 in Winnipeg as Norton broke up a play in center ice. Steen knocked it away from him. It goes to King. Into the skates of Norton as he turned at the Winnipeg line. Back with it is Steen. Steps over the blue line. Got checked by Nyland. Steen gets it again and plays it outside the zone. Elliott backing up. Gave it to Taglianetti. Now to Steen. Back to Taglianetti. And a spinning puck. Gets control of it. Shoots from outside the line. Stick saved by Fitzpatrick. Taglianetti into... Take it on the far wing. Lost it to Norton. Played it away from Ashton. On to Derek King. King just dumps it out of the zone, and back goes Dave Elliott. Into forecheck is Kerr. Sutter picks up Ashton at center ice. Then turn to go after Taglianetti, and Ashton brings the puck over the line. Deep pass to Elliott. Fired it wide. Comes off the board. Held in by Steen. Diddick and Elliott bump back in the net. Wayne McBean for the Islanders steps out of the corner. The 20-year-old defenseman gets away from Fenton. Plays it on to Sutter. Brent Sutter chasing it along with Olesen. Loose puck behind the net. Dale Henry and Boschman tie up one another. Brent Sutter digs the puck loose and runs into the check of Olesen, and Randy Carlyle takes over. Carlyle, neat pass onto the stick of Boschman at center ice. Long shot, stick saved by Fitzpatrick, and Pollock plays one off the boards to Brent Sutter. As Dale Henry with him, Henry chases the puck after Sutter dumped it in, and Asenza gets to it first. Turned it over to Sutter, however. Sutter and Boschman in the corner. Now Carlyle and Henry collide. Each team with 17 shots on goal, and this is Randy Carlyle. Delayed penalty back of the play. Called now as Diddick takes control of the puck, and Winnipeg will go to the power play. 3-1, the Islanders leading the Jets. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
What's that? He's got our flashlight. Over there.
Good, Monkey. But Ed said Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
So hard to get good help.
Dale Henry gets the penalty for interference. That's the third interference call in this hockey game. Dale Henry gives Winnipeg Jets some light. Halfway through the hockey game, 9:53 remaining in the second period. The Islanders enjoying a 3-1 lead. And again, I point out, as I did at the end of the first period, that Winnipeg just reluctant to put a lot of pressure on the Islanders in the Islanders' end of the ice. They seem to get the puck down there, and then they allow the Islanders just to come out at will. Wondering if Rick Bowness is realizing that, or Billy Sutherland, the assistant coach.
Makes you wonder a little bit about the advanced scouting, because in recent games, the Islanders have had all kinds of trouble coming out of their own end of the ice.
Yes, and you know the inexperience of the Islanders. You saw them in the first period. The only time they got in trouble was when they made the bad pass, and it was an unforced error. There wasn't a lot of pressure on the defense at the time. I think as a coach or an assistant coach, you would not only be prepared for that before the game, but seeing it in the game.
Now McBain with the puck for Winnipeg has fed it to Howard Chuck. Back to the point for Dave Elliott. Tees it up, lets it go, kicks out. Howard Chuck the rebound, he scored! McBain was in the goal mouth, and Fitzpatrick is being restrained by one of his teammates. Mark Fitzpatrick would like to get at McBain or any one of the Winnipeg Jets. Gary Nyland held him off, and now Fitzpatrick is out to complain to referee Ron Hogarth.
There was a Washington player in the goal crease, but I believe Nyland, the Islander defenseman, a Winnipeg player, was pushed in there by Nyland. He stepped on top of Mark Fitzpatrick. That's what made him so mad. One, the goal going in makes him the maddest, and then being stepped on. There's Mark Fitzpatrick showing disdain. Power play goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Ron Hogarth is pointing at somebody for some reason. Possibly penalties. We'll have to wait and see. He's over at the bench now as you see him leaving. Take another look at a rebound. The rebound goal. Ellett there. He wants to get it to the net. He does. There's the save. There's the shot. Duncan is in the goal crease, but he was pushed in there by Gary Nyland. Goal by Dale Howardchuck. That's Howardchuck, number 10, as he puts it back to Ellett. There's the rebound. You can see the Winnipeg player, Andrew McBain it was, that was pushed into the goal crease, and that hindered what Mark Fitzpatrick was trying to do and concentrating on the rebound and on the puck. Dale Howardchuck blistered by him. It's 3-2 now. 9:22 remaining in the second period.
Allen and McBain get the assist on that goal, so Howardchuck with 34 on the season, 6 of them against the New York Islanders. And it cuts the margin to 3-2. Just over 9 minutes remaining in the second period here at Winnipeg. Coming up in our second intermission today, a look back at some of the memorable goals in Islander history. Recently, the 5,000th goal in Islander history scored at the Nassau Coliseum. And we'll look at some of the more memorable ones during our second intermission today.
Yeah, I think one of the goals is the 11-second overtime goal that JP put in. Saw him yesterday afternoon at Minnesota.
Black and white television. Here's Ashton to Steen. Played it to the side of the net. And it's turned over by Ellenuk as he tried to get it right back to Steen. Mark Fitzpatrick bangs it around the boards. LaFontaine jabbing at it. Got it outside the line. Kerr picks it up, has King with him. Derek King fires off left wing. The rebound is there and banged in by Kerr. Alan Kerr comes right back, and the Islanders lead 4-2.
It'll never show it in the box score, but what a move by Pat LaFontaine as he took Taglianetti and Ashton both down inside the Islanders' blue line. That sprung a 3-on-1 break. Rick Bowness looking back. There they go. Alan Kerr to King. There's his shot. Stop the rebound. King shakes off, or I should say Kerr shakes off a check by number 2, Dave Ellett, and makes it 4-2. The Islanders regain the 2-goal lead. There's the shot by Derek King to stop the rebound. Good job there by Alan Kerr as he fights off a check, puts it in, and the Islanders have the 2-goal lead back with 8:45 remaining in the second period. Good hustle. Back in the Islanders' end of the ice. Pat LaFontaine, to get the puck out of the Islanders' end, he ran into Taglianetti and Ashton, knocking them both down. That created the 3-on-1 break. Rick Bowness trying to pump his troops up, doesn't want them to sag. Sometimes that'll happen. A team gets scored on and a key goal. So often the goals come in bunches. That's what he's going to try and prevent.
Goals in bunches for Alan Kerr as well. That's 4 on this road trip, 2 at Detroit. To start the 3-game trip. I think that was about a month ago now.
It almost seems that way, doesn't it?
Randy Wood checked from behind by Gillen as he got to the blue line. Makela moved in but couldn't get to it in time, and Nola May banks it off the boards. Makela knocked it down at the blue line. Picked up and brought to center ice. Gillen with a shot from the point wide of Fitzpatrick. Here's Kulak. That's the center one that hit Nyland. Flatly bumped from behind by Gillen. They battle on the boards on this near side of the ice. The puck pops loose. Jets. Nola May gets tied up with Nyland. Now Kulak runs into Jeff Norton's check. And we've got a fight in the corner here. Way over in the far corner on the opposite side of the ice. Gary Nyland and Stu Gillen. Randy Gillen, I believe it is. And the linesmen, Lazarowicz and Mitten, in to pull them apart. The Islanders led 2-1 at the end of the first period. Built a 3-1 lead on a power play goal. Winnipeg got that back on a power play by Howardchuck. And less than a minute later, Alan Kerr had regained a 2-goal lead for the Islanders. We see Nyland leaving, headed towards the penalty box, along with LeMay. I mentioned Gillen. It's LeMay for Winnipeg. We pause now for a local break. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
At North General, we get more than 1,000 patients every day. The National Executive Service Corps made it possible for our staff and management to develop a quality hospital for this medically underserved area. Volunteer consultants from the NESC helped turn around this facility.
The National Executive Service Corps, helping nonprofits help people. For experience consultation, call 212-529-6660.
Without the National Executive Service Corps, there would be no North General Hospital.
Molyneux for the Winnipeg Jets in the sin bin. To his right, your left, there, Gary Nyland for the Islanders. They both get 2 minutes each for roughing. That's the discussion that Hogarth and Fitzpatrick were having earlier, and Mark Fitzpatrick was really upset when he was knocked around in the goal crease. The puck went in, and then he got trampled on, just to add to it.
That was the power play goal by Howarchuk. It's only the second power play goal in the last 4 games for Winnipeg. They were 1 for 18 in the last 3 games coming into today's action against the Islanders. Greg Gilbert dumps the puck to the Winnipeg line. Teams at 6 aside. Coincidental roughing penalties. Nyland and LeMay at 12-16 of this second period. Bergevin, he played to get it away from McBain. Gives it to Gilbert on left wing. Played it away from Howarchuk to Trottier. Trottier and Fitzgerald crisscross at the Winnipeg line. Brian Trottier moving in on Carlisle. Centers one to Fitzgerald for a shot that went wide. This is Dave Ellett. Ellett to McBain, who dumps it into the far corner. Diddick is there. Played it away from Howarchuk. Jets get to it. Played around the boards by Duncan. It goes to Greg Gilbert. Now to Brent Sutter. Sutter dumps it in. Teammates, line mates in this case, were in the middle of the player change, and the Jets start out. Ian Duncan at center. Washman tipping it into the Islanders zone. That's Norton going back for it. Jeff Norton has cleared the zone, and Taglianetti gets to it at the Winnipeg blue line. Knocked it away from Pollock. Moved it up the left side, and just out of the reach of Paul Fenton. Norton back to put a stick on it, and that's icing against the Winnipeg Jets.
Here in the second period, 6:22 remaining. Play gets a little bit sloppy. The passing. There's McGoy. Paul Fenton from the Springfield area, Chicopee. My new rising star. Got a chance to say hello to him before the game.
Boy, the night that the Jets were on Long Island and you built him into the next Wayne Gretzky was telling us that his parents were watching the game. And how they were embarrassed to the point of turning the game off. Well, maybe not that much, and they're probably tuned in again today. The Fentons.
Oh, yeah, they watched the game. And he's had a couple. In the first period, he had 2 good scoring opportunities when the Islanders mishandled the puck in front of their goaltender, Mark Fitzpatrick. And then Fitzpatrick come up with a couple of pretty good saves off Paul Fenton.
And I will verify, folks, Paul Fenton mentioned again today that he has the card from the banquet, in which he was presented with a trophy by Ed Westphal. He has a little banquet card, autographed
20 years ago.
It's frayed and tattered, but someday they'll call from the Hockey Hall of Fame looking for that autograph, and he'll have it. Big bucks. I mean, we're talking big bucks.
I guess.
A little less than 6 minutes to go in the second period. Boschman at center ice with Fenton.
A lot of play in the center ice area right now. Teams playing rather cautiously.
Long cross ice pass. Picked up, shot down the ice by Olesen. Here's Boschman to Donnelly. It's knocked away from him. Jets with it at center ice again. Here's Olesen. Used it in. His team in the middle of a player change. Mark Fitzpatrick handling it. Up the boards for Henry. Got to the line. Ellett just dumped one in. Reed Larson dumps it right back out again. Now Ellett shoots it in with some authority this time. And Fitzpatrick plays it around the boards.
Puck's getting dizzy. Going round and round. Nobody seems to want it. No, you take it. I don't want it. You have it.
They're going to give it to somebody in the seats. Get a new puck. Islanders lead 4-2, and you're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
It's March, and your Jeep Eagle dealer is blowing away the competition. You can get a legendary Jeep Wrangler for a price this low. Save this kind of money on a roomy Jeep Cherokee. Or get savings this big on a powerful Jeep Comanche. There's never been a better time to grab savings like these. But hurry, once these deals stop flying, it's all over till next March.
See your Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealer where you can always expect the best.
Now they've got a puck that'll behave for somebody, they hope.
Jets Mentioned had gone 4 without a loss at home until Edmonton beat them here on Friday night. They'll have that chance, but they've got to do something today. And there's an opportunity. Hellebuck got a putt that was behind Fitzpatrick, and he could not get it over the goal line. Hellebuck out with Brett Ashton and Thomas Steen for Winnipeg. Steen with a pass to the left side. Ashton moves in, gave it back to Steen. It's broken up by Kerr. And then he took Hellebuck down. Alan Kerr, with a couple of goals and an assist today, is going to go to the penalty box. The Islanders lead by 2, and you're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
This is a brand new $18,000 car. Put in a leading motor oil. This is an identical new car. Put in Mobil 1. Start them up and drive. Under extreme conditions, temperatures inside your engine can reach 570 degrees. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more. But then, under extreme conditions, look at what can happen to conventional motor oil. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
Alan Kerr gets the gate. A tripping penalty. Power play to the Winnipeg Jets. The Islanders. There's the pass. Ashton. Here's the breakup of the play. Kerr with the trip there. Gets the feet out from underneath Pat Ellenuk. Here, Mark Fitzpatrick. He comes out well, cuts down the angle, and there's the puck as it dribbles in behind him. Ellenuk trying to loosen it to put it in. Look at Mark Bergevin playing goaltender along with Gerald Didick.
4th power play of the game now for the Winnipeg Jets. Howard Chuck at center, McBain on one side, Duncan on the other. Vellet and Olesen together on the points. Winnipeg 1 for 3 with the man advantage. The Islanders have scored 2 power play goals this afternoon. Olesen's pass cut off at the blue line. Howard Chuck gets to it. Trying to get around Flatley. Got knocked down. The fans trying to call for a penalty. Ron Hogarth doesn't hear them. Howard Chuck is slow getting back into the play. Fixing the shin pad on his right leg. And now Olesen slapped it into the Islander territory. Fitzpatrick has given it to Didick up around the boards, away from Olesen covering the left point. The Jets will start deep in their own zone with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the man advantage.
Always seems odd when you have a player like Howard Chuck on the ice who handles the puck so well that they shoot the puck in. This time they carry it. Now they shoot it.
Now Olesen just dumps it into the corner. Norton waited for it, bangs it off the glass, and the Jets chase it again.
Playing catch with Sensa, excuse me. Opie Reddick, we haven't mentioned the fact that he is the backup goaltender. Berthume is back in the minor league.
Yeah. We'll go through a lot of goaltenders again this season. Dave Ellis holds the puck at the left point now. Ellenuk heads toward the net. Pass, a high one, got away from everybody. Howard Chuck centers it to Brian Trottier. He looked to Carlisle at the left point. Trottier, sensing it, read the play, and here's Gilbert into the Winnipeg zone. 5-step Elliott. Carlisle picks it up, gives it to Elliott with 22 seconds left in the power play. Brett Ashton over center ice. New proud Papa dumps it in. That's the name of the game on the power play, it seems, and Didick dumps it out. Pitch and catch.
Yes. Fans, you can hear them starting to get a little upset, starting to boo the power play of the Winnipeg Jets. 2 seconds, 1, and the penalty is now over. No shots on goal. Again, the Islanders keeping Winnipeg from getting things going in the Islanders' end of the ice.
Dean chased the loose puck at center. Bergevin freed it up, and there's Volek moving in around Carlisle. David Volek cuts it off the left side. Rounds it up for a stuff-in that's denied. Now Volek centers to Kerr, and he couldn't complete the hat trick. Brent Sutter puts it in the goal mouth. Volek with a shot. Third save by Asenza, and he finally covers the puck to get a face-off.
Great pursuit of the puck by the Islanders. They all get a shot at it. Kerr looking for his hat trick goal. Stopped by Asenza. Good goaltending from close in. What work by David Volek again as he handles the puck so confidently. Finds the open man. He gets by Randy Carlisle down the boards there. Held the puck. A wraparound attempt. Asenza makes the save. Brent Sutter, Volek in front. There's Kerr with a shot. Stopped by Asenza. And then from the back of the net to the front quickly. Sutter, shot by Volek. All stopped by Asenza. The Islanders trying to widen the lead. They're ahead by 2. It's 4-2 right now. And there's Alan Kerr. He has the hot hands going now.
Did you count how many shots on goal in that little flurry?
No, but I would guess it at about 4 or 5.
2 went up on the shot clock.
No. Couldn't be. Kerr got a shot. Volek had 2 shots. Sutter had 1. That's 3. Well, let's take a look. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're just so high up here where we're sitting that we can't see what's going on. Volek there. Now, as he stuffs it in, that's 1. Now Sutter gives it to Volek. There, Kerr, that's 2 as he put it off the toe. There's 3. Here comes 4. Finally, the play is stopped. That's 4. So they put 2 up.
They divide by 2 here. We figured out the system now. 21-20. It had been 20-19 favor of Edmonton just before, Winnipeg just before that flurry.
Maybe the general manager's keeping the shot totals because he figures that if the more shots there are, Asensa may be up for a contract at the end of the year. Wait a minute, you didn't have all those shots.
That shot from the right point by Norton hasn't counted for anything yet. And Kulak gets into the Islanders zone. King took him off the puck, and it's cleared up the left side. I'm a little sensitive to shots on goal because there was so much made of the old situation in Atlanta. The theory there was that you divided by 3, not 2. The Flames are outshot so many times. Kids are listening to us. They've put it up now. They've just put an extra one up.
They're looking at the replay.
Not what you shoot at the net. It's what goes in, right?
Yeah.
It's the score that's important, and the Islanders lead 4-2. We have a minute and a half remaining in the second period. This is Kulak. To Gillen, and the pass intercepted outside the line by Jeff Norton. Dumps it back in. I'm Jakes McDonald with Ed Westfall. Glad you're able to join us for Islander Hockey on Sports Channel as they complete a 3-game trip. Go home to face the Boston Bruins on Tuesday night. Bergevin taking it from Diddick, steps over center, shot it in off Trottier. It goes to Randy Wood for a drive. The save made. Oh, what a save off Patrick Flatley. Asensa just reaches out with the catching glove. First good save, and then a second one that's even better.
Asensa is mad. He's not mad at his teammates. I think he's mad at himself for giving up the rebound. A hard shot by Randy Wood. There's the shot clock, 24. That's the Islanders, the visitors. 24, Winnipeg. Here's the shot by Randy Wood. There's the rebound I think he was mad about. And here, Flatley fights his way in. Bang. Reaching up, Asensa makes a diving catch with his gloved hand. Flatley thought he had a goal. Asensa thought he had 2, but at the last minute he got his glove up and took it away. Good chance for the Islanders. Poor coverage again off the rebound by the defenseman of the Winnipeg Jets.
Asensa is 6 foot, 160 pounds, 24 years of age. A Spartan, Michigan State University. Ball start on the face-off. They'll line up again. Asensa 3-3-2. That's 3 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties coming in to today's game. He shut out the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
1-0.
Boy, he came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he's the #1 goaltender here in Winnipeg. Put Pokey Reddick on the bench, and Daniel Berthume, who started the season in the minors, the Maritimes, because he was in the doghouse in the Chateau Bow Wow. Is that how you say it, Dick?
Well,
and a few other people.
Yeah.
But Berthume got back here. Now he's back in the minors.
Here's Olsen across the line. Trying to cut in. Shoots. With Patrick to save. He looked one direction. The puck went the other after he had blocked it. And with 20 seconds remaining, the Jets unable to get anything going at center ice again. Flatley puts it across the Winnipeg line. Frederick Olsen moves it up to Duncan. Went to the left side. Here's Howardchuk. Took a look at the clock. Steps over the Islander line. Then played it around Diddick. Bergevin gets to it. Got hooked up in the corner. Bergevin frees himself from the check. The puck knocked away by Howardchuk just as the horn sounds. So the Islanders outscored the Jets 2-1 in the first period. They outscored them 2-1 here in the second. And nobody is going for a leisurely skate at the end of the period now. Everybody is just filing off the ice, off the players' bench, and down the walkway toward the dressing room. There should not be a bench penalty against the Islanders at the end of this period.
Well, we can only Ron Hogarth now. He's keeping an eye on things. A couple of the Winnipeg Jets still out on the ice. Suppose if they don't disappear, there he goes. Hogarth heading for his dressing room. And the linesman and the referee will talk about the second period.
And the Islanders have taken a 4-2 lead over the Winnipeg Jets after 40 minutes. We'll be back with a recap and our intermission right after these messages.
If Toyota trucks are so rugged, why the kid glove treatment?
It shows the commitment to quality that runs through every Toyota truck. From their advanced anti-rust alloys to the mandatory gloves that make sure the best-selling import pickups in the country are perfect when they reach you. And the kid gloves come off. Toyota dealers have plenty of trucks right now, completely redesigned for '89, and deals so good the competition can't lay a glove on us. Come see world-class trucks at your hometown Toyota dealer.
When I was 12, boats were my great passion. I had my own small boat. Many of my friends had one too. We knew, even back then, that sailing would always be a big part of our lives.
Oh, Harold, it's lovely.
I hope you like it. It reminds me of when he first got electric light back when I was a child.
Oh. Daddy used to draw his chair up to that light and read to him. Oh. And memories. But, Harold, this is the 80s.
And I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Kill the light, will you, Harold?
Oh, because everything else is just a light.
The New York Islanders, who have lost 6 straight games on the road, come into Winnipeg and lead 4-2 at the end of the second period this Sunday afternoon. Shots on goal in the period by the Islanders 13 and by the Jets 9. 24-21 your totals over 40 minutes. The 2-1 lead for the Islanders went to 3-1. Pat LaFontaine, who missed most of the first period with a cut along his left ear, and stitched up, comes back, gets a power play goal. His 35th of the season. Norton and Diddick assist at 5:23. And the Winnipeg Jets connect on the power play. Howard-Chuck, his 34th goal of the season. Ellen and McBain assisted at 10:38, and the margin was cut to 3-2. But as you see, at 11:15, Alan Kerr gets his second goal of this game, his 13th of the season. Kerr scoring at 11:15 from Henry and Pat LaFontaine, and the Islanders are on top, 4-2. They're 2 of 2 with the man advantage, and they're 1 of 4. Winnipeg is 1 of 4 on the power play this afternoon. So it's the New York Islanders 4, the Winnipeg Jets 2. Our intermission feature coming up, some memorable Islander goals in salute of the recent 5,000. We'll be back following these messages.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, and for the king, for the sweat and for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
This Bud's for you, Bud. This Bud's for you.
You know, everyone tells me what a beautiful car my Toyota Corolla is. True. But I tell them I got my '89 Corolla because I'm completely logical. I look for reliability and quality in a car. But between you and me, I fell in love with my Corolla the first time I laid eyes on it.
My Toyota, I love it. Toyota, who could ask for anything more?
The first place New York Saints are out for a championship. Coors Light presents the Major Indoor Lacrosse League. This Sunday at 2 at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. The New York Saints, the Detroit Turbos. The final game of the regular season. Lightning fast, gut-wrenching excitement. Flashy, rewarding, cross-checking, no holds barred. The Saints have 5 wins in a row. Now they'll send the Turbos packing back to Motown. Coors Light presents the showdown. The Saints versus the Turbos. You gotta see it to believe it.
On February 4th versus Hartford, Full of all. The date, May 24th, 1980. The late Dan Kelly.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
At 35 degrees below zero, this is conventional motor oil. But Mobil 1 still flows freely to protect vital engine parts faster.
I simply must go.
The answer is no.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Get Mobil 1 and beat the cold.
I'm talking cold.
Okay, bring it forward a little bit. Keep it coming.
It ain't gonna fit, Charlie.
Just trust me. Hold it there. Slower it a little bit.
Charlie,
Hold
it ain't gonna fit.
Take it easy. Just be gentle with it. It'll be fine. Just lower it a
ain't
little
gonna
bit
fit.
more.
Okay.
Just lower it.
Sorry, Charlie.
Take it in.
I knew it wouldn't
Wait,
fit,
get
Charlie.
it up.
Come on, I knew it wouldn't fit. No way.
If it's out there, it's in here.
I knew it wouldn't fit.
The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
The Winnipeg Arena, it's the Islanders 4, the Winnipeg Jets 2 at the end of 2 periods. It was 2-1 for the Islanders at the end of the first, and the Islanders score to make it 3-1. Here's the path, a power play goal. Jeff Norton with a nice pass. Pat LaFontaine picks up the puck, races to the net, makes one move to the backhand up top. Beautiful play. Pat LaFontaine is 35th of the season from Diddick and Norton, giving the Islanders a 3-1 lead. Then back comes Howard-Chuck. Questionable goal as far as the goaltender, Mark Fitzpatrick, is concerned. That's Ellett with the puck. His shot gets to the net. It's a rebound. Nyland there, tying up the player. There's the shot by Howard-Chuck. In the goal crease, McBain, but he was pushed in by Nyland. Howard-Chuck with his 34th of the season from Ellett, and McBain makes the score 3-2. And the Islanders make it 4-2 as Alan Kerr starts up the middle. Pat LaFontaine had made a good move inside. There's the rebound. Derek King's shot, rebounded by Alan Kerr, his 13th, second of the game, 13th of the season from Henry and Pat LaFontaine. And that's the way the period ended, with the Islanders 2 goals ahead. We'll be back for the start of the third period in just a moment. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel.
Looking for a low-cost source of ready cash? The Long Island Savings Bank can help you find it right in your own home. With our Equity Power line of credit, you can borrow up to $300,000 depending on your equity, and part or all of the interest may be tax-deductible. You can use Equity Power to make home improvements, send the kids to college, buy a second home. Equity Power, it's the smart way to borrow from Long Island Savings Bank. Call for our super low rate, now with annual caps and lifetime ceilings.
Your Long Island Chevy Force dealer has got what you're looking for. Big deals now on the cars and trucks you want now. Super low 4.9% financing or up to $750 cash back on selected cars and trucks. Plus up to $1,000 cash back on 4-cylinder celebrities. We've got the cars, the trucks, the cash, and the 4.9% financing for the deals of the year now at your Long Island Chevy Force dealer.
I picked this career because I need a challenge. My job is demanding, but rewarding. That's why I like my new Michelin Sport EPX tires. They can handle just about any demands I make on them. I rely on my tires to get me where news is happening. Great handling in any weather, when I need it.
Tonight's news was brought to you by Michelin.
Literally.
Michelin, available at Wholesale Tire Auto Centers located in Farmingdale, Hempstead, Comac, and East Meadow. Wholesale Tire and Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Getting ready to start the third period at the Winnipeg Arena. Model Sporting Goods and the Islanders are teaming up to thank their fans for their support by setting aside Saturday, April the 1st, as Fan Appreciation Night at the Coliseum. The Islanders are set to play the Buffalo Sabres in their final regular season home game, and every fan will receive a free sports water bottle, courtesy of the two new Model Sporting Goods stores, getting ready to open in East Meadow and Lake Success. So be sure to catch the Islanders in their final regular season home game on April the 1st and pick up your sports water bottle courtesy of Model Sporting Goods.
We're going to need a tremendous-sized water bottle to fill this hole.
Wow.
You better get a couple of those Model bottles over here.
Drop a grenade in here? We didn't know
Oh, the guy out ice fishing.
Yeah, I wonder if he caught anything.
They're just about that size.
Oh, that's right in the center ice area, right below us here. We see the top of Ron Hogarth's head. Now they got some slush they use. That's what the word is, folks. It's wet, snowy, icy slush. It's going to fix the hole before the fish jump out of it. That's the way it is when you go fishing, I'll bet, Jake. You charm them right out of the water.
Not me.
Oh, no. You fish?
I don't have time.
I mean, you go to Hawaii. You fish in Hawaii when you're there? You're there for weeks on end.
You've almost done that on a couple of occasions.
Almost a permanent resident of the islands now. There's Pokey Reddick. I still laugh about the time they wouldn't let him in the Nassau Coliseum to go to practice in the morning skate.
Yeah.
They had a rock concert going on. Poor Pokey Reddick. They had a rock concert going on, and he wanted to get in for the morning skate, and there were tickets going on sale for the rock concert, and they thought he was trying to beat the line. They thought he was trying to sneak in the back way and get to the top of the line to get the tickets. And twice they threw him out. He says, "But you don't understand. I'm the goaltender of the Winnipeg Jets." Sure. My father's Winston Churchill.
Okay, with a record of 10, 13, and 7 this season, a 4.16 goals against average. Not nearly where he would like to have it. Headed back to the Winnipeg bench as we check out. There's the crevice.
Yeah.
What's running through my mind is the story about the two coaches that went ice fishing during the All-Star break. Big booming voice, "Don't fish." Well, how that story goes? Is that you?
Yeah.
The Supreme Being? And they said, "No, this is the arena manager."
Yeah. You know who does go fishing every year, or almost every year, is Harry Sinden and Glenn Sather.
Oh, yeah, the Arctic Char. A lot of trips up to...
Sinden, I mean, he'd fish in the bathtub if he thought there might be a chance. Oh, he loves to fish.
4-2. The Islanders leading the Winnipeg Jets as the third period gets underway here at the Winnipeg Arena. Dean deep in the Islander zone. Comes out of the corner with a shot turned aside by Fitzpatrick. Trottier moves it to the right side. Fitzgerald colliding with Carlisle. Puck ends up in the Winnipeg zone. Olesen got it to the line. It's held in, and now they rule it was offside. That Fitzgerald brought it back in with a pass to Gilbert. Gilbert being challenged here along the left wing board. Dean and Gilbert exchanging some greeting. Now Trottier upset Frederick Olesen just by being in the area. Ashton talking to Trottier, and you see Gerald Diddick.
We won't ask these guys to settle the strike, I guess, with Eastern.
No.
They're not very good at mediating their own deals, but I guess the cooler heads have prevailed, and they're going to get back to playing hockey. It's going to be interesting here to see whether or not Winnipeg puts on an offensive flurry. They're down by 2 goals. They're in their own building with a nice crowd here on a Saturday afternoon. And Winnipeg, of course, trailing 10 points behind fourth-place Vancouver for the last playoff spot in the 5th division. And the last report, we haven't seen one lately, but 3-0, I think the last time I saw something come through here. The Washington Capitals over Vancouver. Oh, what did I get the wrong day here? I'm being corrected. I guess I said Saturday. It's Sunday today. And well, they all run together when you're on the road.
Nyland chasing the puck back into his own zone for the Islanders. Up the right side, it's held in by Duncan. Jeff Norton turns sharply at the side of the net. 2 Jets get to him. Norton maintains control of the puck and clears it out. Chasing is Dale Henry. Elliott back, poking at it. Dave Elliott to Taglianetti. Moves it up the right side. McBain to Howard-Chuck. Dale Howard-Chuck dumps it in, and there's Dale Henry for the Islanders, playing it back through center ice. Howard-Chuck, an expectant papa. Puts the puck in the Islanders zone. I think along with that reason, the fact that he has a wife now and expecting a family that maybe just a little reluctant, a little repentant for some of the things that he said. He was really upset with the trade of Chevrier. He's outspoken about the organization here in Winnipeg and how it was so trying and frustrating and wanted out of here. The team didn't react well. They've gone 5 wins, 14 losses, and 2 ties since that statement back on the 19th of January.
I remember when they were in one of the visits, I had interviewed him, and I asked him about that, and he, he was very quiet, very sheepish, kind of held back at answering when I had mentioned about, the years that he's played here and scored over 100 points almost every year, and has done almost everything they've asked him to do offensively, and the team doesn't seem to go anywhere. And wouldn't you like to see your career finish with a chance, at least, at a Stanley Cup?
Now Steen over the line, offside as the Jets move into the Islander zone. We'll check the other games in the National Hockey League.
Yes, the
Sunday.
out-of-town scores. The New Jersey Devils and the Minnesota North Stars. There is no score in the first period, and as we had mentioned, it's 3-0 Vancouver. It's a final now. Vancouver lost to the Washington Capitals 3-0. So with that loss, Winnipeg, I'm sure they must know that. Players are well informed, particularly about these kinds of things. The coaches will tell them that we have a chance to pick up 2 points on Vancouver. But so far, I haven't seen that reflected in the way they're playing.
3 games in hand and 2 games remaining with Vancouver. If you can win the games in hand, beat the Canucks twice, there's 10 points right there.
Absolutely.
LaFontaine with a shot, just missed on the stick side of Asenza. Kulak trying to get it away from King. Moves it out to center ice, and here's LeMay. Oh, LeMay into the Winnipeg zone. He's given it to Gillen. Poke checked away neatly by Bergevin, and Kite maintains control at center ice. Dumped it in on a delayed offside. And the Islanders play it out. Kerr puts it in around Kite. Chasing is King. Gary King centers one in front. LaFontaine shot went wide. Alan Kerr gets tangled up with Kite. Gillen there as well. The puck kicked loose for LaFontaine. Out to Kerr, and a shot turned aside as Kerr went for the hat trick. Beaten this time by Asenza. Kerr with 2 goals and an assist today. Meantime, Gillen into the Islander zone is checked. Norton took him off the puck. Bergevin couldn't clear it out on the left side. Fitzpatrick has given it to Patrick Flatley. Bergevin had his helmet knocked off. Bergevin in a deep discussion with Mo LeMay. Hellenuck dropping it back into his own zone for Winnipeg. Here's Steen. Hellenuck and Bergevin after it. The Jets get it into the Islander zone. This is Steen. Now to Hellenuck. Back to Taglianetti through a screen, off a skate and wide of the net. Steen chasing it. Randy Wood gets to it and ran into Carlisle, and Taglianetti comes back. New York Islanders leading 4-2 here at Winnipeg as Taglianetti sets up behind his own goal. Makela in forechecking. The pass went to Carlisle. Flatley tipped it at center. Now Steen dumps it in for Winnipeg. Fitzpatrick waiting for it. Plays it around the boards. This is Brent Ashton turning it back into the corner. Gary Nyland is there. Nyland has cleared it out for the Islanders. Nyland with that hard hit on Newman around the 7-minute mark of the second period. Randy Wood comes over the line with the pass for Fitzgerald, and he shot it over the crossbar. Well, a lot on that drive. Now Nyland lets one go that misses the net. Target practice at the moment. Giddick fires one that was blocked by Carlisle. Snaps it off the boards for Ashton. And now to Howardchuk. He's into the Islander zone. 3 Islanders back. Howardchuk pulls it, lets the play develop, then shot it wide. The rebound goes to McBain. Centers it. Howardchuk with a blast. That ends up on top of the net. Came off the glass. They fish it off the top of the goal. 4-2, the Islanders lead. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
Throughout Long Island, a lot of special people are involved in Little League. I know, I've been one of them. I've been cheering my 2 boys on since my oldest was 5 years old. It may only be Little League, but to them, it's the big diamond.
Going back to your target practice, Jiggs, if they're going to have target practice, they're going to have to lower their sights and lower the target about 10 feet. 3 shots in a row, 2 by the Islanders, 1 by the Winnipeg Jets, all way up on the glass.
Used to maintain the same type of thing when Jacques Richard was the #1 draft pick of the Atlanta Flames. So they put the puck high in the corner, or the net, I should say, high in the corners. He'd have outstanding statistics.
Yeah, you don't get everything you want in life.
No, you sure don't. But then again, it's just so nice to be a part of it all.
Oh, yeah.
That used to be Hal Laco's line when he coached. But well, I guess 36 games, half a season or so with the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah.
Line always, and there's one great regret that he never got to coach the Kings at Madison Square Garden. But constantly, he'd say it's just so nice to be a part of it all. Meantime, the team is like 2-26, 2-28, 3-30.
Yeah, you don't stay a part of it all too long, I suppose, when those numbers keep coming up.
Here's Olison at the right point. Shoots one, blocked by Fitzpatrick. The rebound, McBain could not get to it, and Tom Fitzgerald brings it out. Fitzgerald with Trottier and Gilbert as they dump it into the Winnipeg zone. Trottier gets it from the back of the net. A wraparound right across the front of the net. Here's David Bollock just in on a line change. Bollock comes out of the corner, centered one behind Trottier, and Howardchuk picks it off the boards, cleared it to the line where Nyland knocked it down, shoveled it in around, just actually threw it into the corner.
You see, Ron Hogarth, the referee, couldn't believe it. He started to go to his lips with the whistle, and then he said, "Oh, to heck with it." Nyland put his hand on the puck, or closed his hand on the puck, and just threw it down into the corner of the ring.
David Bollock plays it into the Winnipeg zone. Here's Olison. Slaps it around to the point. Take that away from Nyland. Down to Norton. To David Bollock, 2-on-1. He gets it to Dale Henry. Henry with a shot. Pad saved by Asenza. The rebound ends up back of the net. Asenza put it in the corner, and Bollock gives it to Brent Sutter. Sutter trying to free himself from Olison. Left it for Henry. A shot right on. And Asenza blocks that and covers the puck. The Islanders on top 4-2 at Winnipeg. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
It's March, and your Jeep Eagle dealer is blowing away the competition. Get cash back on an Eagle Premier now. Plus factory-to-dealer incentives that could save you hundreds more. Get cash back or low financing on an all-new Eagle Summit. There's never been a better time to grab savings like these. But hurry, once these deals stop flying, it's all over till next March.
See your Tri-State Jeep Eagle dealer where you can always expect the best.
Got the tie loosened up. He's been tireless up and down the bench trying to keep his team, or trying to actually get them up. Way better in this third period. He's been clapping, working his way up and down the bench, talking to the players, being a real hauler guy. But, boy, they come over the boards, and they're still in the ether. They haven't come out of it yet. Yes.
Icing here against Winnipeg. Every now and then, Rick Bonus will give you his interpretation of the John Ferguson scowl. Notice how the eyes just sort of furrow deeper and deeper. There it is.
Yeah, you're right. 83-84 was the last year he played as an active player.
A little deeper, Ricky. Former draft pick of the Atlanta Flames. 3.5 years was the assistant coach here in Winnipeg. Last 2 seasons, well, actually, he was in his second year of coaching at Moncton. The American Hockey League was telling Eddie and I today how much he enjoyed living in Moncton.
Great place. Yeah, great place for the family, the children, and really enjoyed it.
Now the Jets put it in the Islander zone. LaFontaine had won the draw cleanly in the Winnipeg zone, set up curve. Senza made the save there. 30 shots for the Islanders. Now the Jets with an opportunity, and a man goes down in front, and an Islander will go off. Gary Nyland taking Paul Fenton down in front of the net. So Winnipeg goes to the power play, and you're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
Tuesday, slick-scoring rookie David Bollock leads the Isles charge when they battled Cam Neely and the playoff-bound Boston Bruins. That's the Isles and Bruins, Tuesday at 8, live and exclusive right here on Sports Channel.
Hi, I'm Mookie Wilson. Mets opening day is just days away, so join the countdown right here on Sports Channel.
There are only 29 days till Mets opening day. Don't miss it.
In front of the net, Gary Nyland draws a penalty for holding there, tying up the Winnipeg Jet forward. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, and Ron Hogarth in the corner gives them a penalty. So Winnipeg, if they're going to do anything, another hole in the ice. The linesman patching it up just in front of the penalty box.
I don't recall them ever having this many problems with the ice surface in Winnipeg.
They're usually, particularly the Canadian cities, are very proud of having good ice. They've had many years of practice, obviously. but there seems to be a lot of dark holes. Whether or not the machine, sometimes the auger that planes the ice when they're flooding it will take too much ice off, and after they've gone over it a few times, it gets thin, and then the players skate, constantly going over it, start to loosen it up, and bang, next thing you know, you got a big hole.
The Jets on the power play, their 5th opportunity of the game. Get one here, they can climb back into this thing. Right now, the Islanders nursing a 4-2 lead as Ellenuk plays it to the corner to Steen, back to Howard-Chuck. Lets one go through a screen, stick save by Fitzpatrick. Olesen after the rebound. Centered, here's Ashton setting up Steen. To the right side to Howard-Chuck, he hit the outside of the net with it. Diddick taps it around the board, held in by Olesen. To Howard-Chuck, managed to hold it in, got it to Steen. Back to the point for Olesen. His shot deflected and then knocked away by Ashton as Fitzpatrick reached for it. The Islanders able to move it up to Randy Wood, plays it around Olesen, and down the ice it goes. 1 minute left in this penalty against Nyland as Howard-Chuck comes over at center ice. Had a little trouble handling the puck. Then got it to Steen, and he stuffed it behind the net. Fitzpatrick leaving it. Norton moves it up along the boards. Olesen holds it in with a pass to Ellenuk. He turns it over, and Reed Larson hammers it the length of the ice.
So hard to get control of the puck, and then when they do, Winnipeg hands it over, gives it to Reed Larson. He shoots it down the ice.
Now Olesen taking it from Howard-Chuck, gave it right back. The pass off his stick. Able to poke it into the Islander zone. In goes Norton. Pulled away from Howard-Chuck. Moves it to Greg Gilbert. Gilbert shot one off Duncan. Now Larson gives it to Norton. He flips one high out into center ice, and we have 17 seconds left in the Winnipeg power play. Randy Carlisle said Howard-Chuck. Couldn't get Duncan free at the Islander blue line. Elliott just dumps it across the line, and now Larson again shoots it the length of the ice. Reed Larson, who had sat out the last 3 or 4 games in the lineup today, used on specialty team situations primarily. Elliott turned it over at the Islander blue line. The penalty has expired. Teams at 6 aside. And an icing call coming against the New York Islanders with 11 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the 3rd period.
The last 3 power plays for the Winnipeg Jets, the Islanders have only given them 2 shots on goal, both of them here on this power play. So the Islanders' penalty killing, which has been a big problem for them most of the season, coming up fairly well here, particularly at this point in the hockey game. And again, I'm waiting for something for Winnipeg to make something happen, and it's just not happening.
Al Arbor at the Islander bench. Now Rick Bonas over at the Winnipeg bench. Somewhere along the line here, I was going to mention your hero, Paul Fenton. And the major penalty he took on Friday night opened up a cut around the eye of Edmonton's Dave Brown. Got himself a game misconduct penalty at 18:02, I think it was, of the 3rd period. But I thought better.
Accidental. Yeah, he did say that was accidental.
So that's the reason I wasn't going to mention it.
Oh, yeah, well, Paul Fenton says it was an accident. It was an accident. I've seen those things happen before.
On the Westfall rating list, who's running 1-2 here? Fitzgerald, Fenton, Wood.
Oh, wow. So you're putting a lot of pressure on me now. It's the middle of a hockey game.
Oh, yeah, I realize. Loshman chasing a loose puck into the Islanders' zone. Out in front. Shot hit Norton. There's Kite. Lets one go. It's blocked at the defense. Comes right back to Jim Kite. Puts one in on Fitzpatrick. He reaches out, covers it with the catching glove, and there's no further play.
Islanders playing pretty good in their own end of the ice the last 2 shifts now. The Winnipeg Jets have had the Islanders back in there. Part of it on the power play. There they is. Paul Fenton. There he is sitting on the bench. They're just getting ready to put him in. When things get desperate, they're saving them.
Portions of tonight's game are being brought to you by EAB, the bank for Long Islanders, where you belong.
All my heroes coming up here. Fenton, Randy Wood, I mean, goodness sakes.
Stay tuned. Quick picture of Bobby Carpenter coming.
Number 11. Well, they're making number 11 famous, aren't they? Fenton, Wood. Now talk about numbers. There you go. Emotional ceremony here as they retired Bobby Hull's sweater. Member of the World Hockey Association, Winnipeg Jets, and he was also part owner of the team. He had a conflict of interest. Wasn't he a part owner, a limited partner in the Hartford Whalers, too? Playing for them at one time? Or went to camp with them. That was
Sutter with a shot that was turned aside by Asenza. We've just been told that Dale Howardchuck, credited with his 34th goal of the season, that's been changed now to McBain.
Must have hit it. Went off McBain. You'll remember he was pushed into the net.
Jets in the Islanders zone. Brent Ashton unable to get control of the puck, and Flatley has shot it down the ice. That goal makes McBain 28.
I understand it was Howardchuck that went over and told them that the puck went off. It was not his goal. It went off McBain. They're announcing that now. Ellett and Howardchuck assisting. Mutual Admiration Society. And who's doing that? That's back in New York, isn't it?
Yeah, that's coming out of the studios and the control center back there. President of the Ed Westfall Fan Club.
Okay. Well, here we are. We're trying to get some more man-made ice here. We've got another spot popping its ugly head through in the center ice area. That's where all these spots are. There's one over near the penalty box they were fixing earlier, and obviously the one at the beginning of the period right below us near the center ice stripe. There's McBain. He's just been assessed. He's got to retape the stick, he said, because after getting that goal that they've just now given to him, he's got to get some new tape. Actually, the puck went off the leg of his pants, I believe, off the seat of his pants, whatever, into the net. He was in the goal crease, but he was pushed in there at the time.
Picked up an explanation as to one of the problems that they think may be occurring here. The puck goes out of play. We can go into depth on it. They had a curling competition, a Bonspiel apparently, here about a month ago, and ever since the ice just hasn't been 100%. Now, curling ice is a lot different than hockey ice, and that it's pebbled to begin with, so that those granite rocks can flow easily up and down the ice, but it's a lower, or actually a higher temperature, I guess. It's not a hard ice. It's usually a softer, just a little bit below 32-degree freezing point for curling.
Yeah, almost to the point where they like to have a little bit of water, almost wet. Then they get the brooms going. Swish, swish.
Oh, yeah, great exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it is.
It's a very social sport.
Well, that's like golf, I guess, in the 19th
Yeah, it's
hole.
It's a 12-ounce exercise.
Here's Olison, checked by Trottier, and McBain puts it out in front. Duncan was there. Good play by Diddick to knock it loose. McBain and Fitzgerald colliding on the boards. Howardchuck fishes one right out in front of the net. It comes back to Olison, and a shot blocked by Greg Gilbert. Gilbert getting up slowly, favoring his right leg as he heads for the Islander bench now, and Ellett plays it across to Howardchuck. Into Duncan, didn't see it coming. Collides with Diddick, Ellett and Trottier there, and it's Brian Trottier moving it around to the right side for Fitzgerald. He shot it down the ice. It's rolling on edge, just gets over the goal line, and that'll be an icing call against the Islanders. We pause now for a local break. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel. See the banner behind the Winnipeg goal in this period. Jets flatly refuse to lose. Creative.
Yeah, it's creative, all right, but whoever made it's probably wishing they hadn't put it up there right about now. 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the hockey game, and the Jets are flat out behind by 2.
Is that Margot Kidder sitting right below that banner?
I don't know her. I mean, I wouldn't recognize her, would you?
Of course.
Oh, well, then go there.
The camera, television puts 10 pounds on or 15.
Is that what my problem is?
Mine too. But I'm still looking for it.
Well, this game has slowed down, hasn't it?
Oh. It was over a while back. Now, the Islanders head home for 3 games this week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And it's right back out on the road again, going to Montreal and Hartford. Then Vancouver,
Edmonton and Calgary, 5-game trip coming up. The Islanders, here in the month of March, have only 5 games at home. They'll start it on Tuesday with a visit from the Boston Bruins. Then Philadelphia on Thursday, and the Devils next Saturday night.
Boston Bruins, a team that's catching fire at the right time. Randy Burridge with a hat trick of the day.
Another icing here against the Islanders. See, we have a new National Hockey League leader in overall points. The Montreal Canadiens beating Hartford last night. They're now a point ahead of the idle Calgary Flames. So Montreal is first, Calgary second, 97 to 96 points. Calgary with a game in hand. They'll play Winnipeg. Winnipeg going out there on Tuesday.
Well, you see her there, Jiggs. The guys in the cameras and the guys in the truck are trying to help you out. They've got their cameras roaming throughout this whole audience, and they're doing their best. You have to do the rest.
I don't know for sure that she's here at the game, but
well,
they're shooting this movie Mob Story in Winnipeg, and I just, for whatever reason, don't think they're shooting today, and naturally, she'd come to the hockey game.
You see, there's Howard Chuck. He's taking a face-off with Pat LaFontaine that he wins.
Ooh. Height just shot it wide. Olesen over on the right wing. Ranche rides him into the boards. Howard Chuck centered for Duncan. Tapped it across in front of the net. There was nobody there for Winnipeg. Ranche roughed up Olesen a little in the corner. And LaFontaine can't get it away from Kite at center ice. Howard Chuck with a pass to McBain. Knocked off his stick by Bergevin. McBain puts it back of the net. Fitzgerald around the boards. And it comes to center ice. Oh, Diddick will pick it up back of the Islander goal. Fitzpatrick got knocked down. There's going to be a penalty, and LaFontaine right away on top of the man to put the feet out from under Mark Fitzpatrick.
Winnipeg trying to stir things up. I suppose anything to get the team sparked. They're behind by 2. Pat LaFontaine, like a rat, he's all over somebody down there, the Winnipeg Jets, as he took the feet out from underneath Mark Fitzpatrick. I believe it's Duncan, LaFontaine, and Bergevin, but I think LaFontaine was just a little quicker. He got to Duncan very quickly. Duncan was flattened in the center ice area by Brian Trottier a little earlier, and he seemed a little slow to get up. LaFontaine heads for the penalty box.
Well, we'll have some penalties here. The Islanders up 4-2, and you're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
You know, there's just no substitute for a well-polished trade.
Indeed. Roy, how nice to see you.
Oh.
You shouldn't have.
Do sit down.
May I offer you a cup of tea?
Why, thank you, Wendell. Listen, I do love what you've done with this place.
Yes, this fabric would look lovely in my caboose.
I must remember to pick some up.
Finger sandwiches, gentlemen?
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
Well, the penalties are to Duncan of the Winnipeg Jets for interference and Pat LaFontaine for roughing. Let's take a look here. There's Duncan. Now he gets a hold of the goaltender here. Mark Fitzpatrick. Actually, Fitzpatrick stepped in front of him. There, Bergevin and LaFontaine get after Duncan. He's got some blood showing on the forehead. That's Duncan. Apparently, there's an extra penalty. Roughing and interference to Duncan. Just roughing for Pat LaFontaine. You see the mark on the forehead. So the Islanders will get a power play out of this. That's what gets the fans stirred. They've been very quiet here for most of the hockey game. They haven't had a heck of a lot to cheer about. 2 goals by the Winnipeg Jets. Although the first goal was the first of the game, Allen scored to make it 1-0, and then from then on it was Diddick and Kerr and LaFontaine. The Islanders built a 3-1 lead before Howard Chuck made it 3-2, and then Alan Kerr extended the lead back to 2 with his second of the game, 13th of the season.
Third power play of the game. The Islanders are perfect, 2 for 2 with the man advantage. Set up in their own zone here. Diddick to Norton. The left side to Patrick Flatley. Flatley gives it to Diddick. Dumps one into the right side of Senza. No problem for Olesen to shoot that out of there. Howard Chuck comes into forecheck. Patrick. Back of the net. Now Sutter coming to center ice. Flatley moves up to join him. Sutter dumped it in across the line. Carlisle failed to clear it out. Patrick Flatley has given it to Brent Sutter. To David Volek. To the blue line for Norton. Into Volek. Puts it in the corner. Sutter after it. Brent Sutter to Volek. Knocked away from him. And there'll be a penalty here. David Volek looks at referee Ron Hogarth. Hooking penalty. And off goes Volek.
Nullifying the power play, David Volek. They lost the puck along the board. There's Volek and Sutter. There's the hook by Volek on Duncan. Down he goes. Volek goes to the penalty box. The Islanders lose their power play advantage. 5:58 remaining in the third period. 4-2. The Islanders are still ahead.
Last time the Islanders shut out a team on the road was right here in Winnipeg. 35 road games ago. 20th of March, 88. 6-0 job. Bill Smith had the victory there. You got everything out of that popcorn, and now
bottom and the whole thing. They hit right through the bottom. Some future hockey players up here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. There's Rick Bowness as he tries to pump some life into his hockey team. All game long, he's been up and down, trying to cheer them along, trying to get them up, get them going, take some life out onto the ice, boys. And boy, he ought to be out there.
Well, the Jets trailing by 2 on home ice. Start out led by Brent Ashton. Ashton to a streaking Steen down the right side. He cuts in, shoots off the post. The pad and the post, I believe. As Fitzpatrick took the left one out, and that shot by Ashton is blocked at the defense. Gary Nyland has given it to Jeff Norton to Makela. One time the pass across to Wood. That was broken up at the Winnipeg line. Here's Ashton. Elliott got ahead of him, and it's offside. And disagree with that call.
There's no question it was offside. And can you imagine who went offside? The defenseman, number 2, Elliott. Trying to get up, get things going on the offensive end of it. He skated up a little too far ahead. Elliott scored the first goal of the hockey game, his 19th of the season. They have some kind of a promotional thing here where different sponsors put up so much money for each goal. They pick a player, and each time that player scores a goal, they have to cough up a designed amount. With Elliott, it's $1,000, and he's got his 19th goal, so that's 19 grand. One of the Canadian, I think it's a beer company, has put up.
Right. Makela bending off Elliott, trying to get it to the point. Steen intercepted, and down he comes with Taglianetti. Steen around Bergevin, and he had it poke checked away at the last second. Bergevin puts it back in the net, and the Islander goal is off the hinges. So the play called. 11 seconds left in one penalty, 1:07 left in the other. This is what the contributions are for. Goals for Kids. Proud sponsors. A lot of them, of course, contributing, as Eddie pointed out. Now 19 for Elliott. A nice gesture. I kind of think the Islanders are going to get involved in something like that with United Way next season, we hope.
Yeah, the different sponsors. $1,000 each time Elliott scores. Some of the others are Howard Chuck, it's $200. $75 for power play goals. $300 when Randy Carlisle scores. Thomas Steen, $200 when he scores.
Nice gesture. Well, in 2 seconds, Winnipeg now with the man advantage. 55 seconds left in Volek's penalty. Just under 5 minutes to play as Olesen slaps it in around the boards. McBain after it. Andrew McBain got checked. Here's Patrick Flatley giving it to Brent Sutter, and he shot it down the ice. Back of the net, Olesen starts out in the man advantage. To the corner for Brian Trottier. Played it off the boards right back to himself. Neat move, and then dumps it down into the Winnipeg zone. Sensa's given it to Olesen with 18 seconds remaining in this power play. Now to McBain. McBain shoots it in. Trottier with it over on the far side. Couldn't clear the zone, however. Helenuck puts it in front, and Mark Bergevin steals it and shoots it the length of the ice. That'll kill off the penalty time against Volek. Now just under 4 minutes left as the Islanders up 4-2 in Winnipeg. rubber match in the season series. Dean gets over the blue line. Checked by Sutter. Dean's stick went flying, and up comes Bergevin. Pulled it away from Howard-Chuck. This is Flatley stepping over the Winnipeg line. Patrick Flatley pulls up on the boards. Elliott on one side, Elliott on the other. Now Ashton and Sutter go back to the net. Carlisle gets the puck. Played it around to the left side for Dale Howard-Chuck. Howard-Chuck, man on his effort to get it into the Islander zone, and Jeff Norton comes down the right side. Elliott trying to catch up with him. Norton coming in on goal. He shoots. Ascends to the save. The Michigan State goaltender beats the Michigan defenseman. And at center ice, it's Nyland shooting it back into the Winnipeg territory.
Good skating exercise there. Jeff Norton outlegging Elliott. Good backhand shot. Sensa with a sliding save. Exciting hockey in a period that has been rather dull so far.
Now Olsen into the Islander zone. Ran into Bergevin. Gilbert goes down. The puck is underneath him, and there's no further play. A little less than 3 minutes remaining in the third period. You're watching the National Hockey League on Sports Channel.
The Clydesdales. The symbol of Budweiser quality. Of Beechwood aging. The choicest natural ingredients. And a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
1 goal and 21 assists to his credit in 54 games this season. There's Norton. He's a good skater. Look at him as he strides out. Looks up, sees what's in front of him. Then he goes to the backhand, tries to put it up high. Asensa outguesses him as Elliott picks up the puck.
Again, some patchwork done on the ice. We have 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the third period here at Winnipeg. Trottier and Boschman on this face-off. Bergevin steps from back of the Islander net, brings them up through center, and then dumps it in. Greg Gilbert going in after it, bumping with Olsen at the side of the net. The puck goes to Olsen. The net aired away by Bergevin. This is Olsen one more time. He overled Boschman. Gary King feeds it into center ice. Fitzgerald tips it into the Winnipeg territory, then races it after it. Now we've got a real big hole right near the former one in the center ice area. And I mean, this is much larger. All the way down to the concrete, it appears. Elliott leaves the puck for Ashton. His shot blocked at the defense off Norton's left hand. It's Martin. This is King across the Winnipeg line. The pass to Pat LaFontaine. Turns.